everybody, and welcome to Adelaide Oval. It's round 5 of the SANFL, the Anzac Day clash, the big one between the two titans. The SANFL, in their wisdom, have programmed today the two big guns, Port Adelaide and Norwood, as a tribute to the diggers around the country, and what a clash we anticipate it will be. Stay with us for 3 hours of live football. I'm sure you'll enjoy the coverage. As we go down to a man who probably remembers last year's Anzac Day clash, it's Mark Nayley joining us on the boundary.
Good afternoon, David. What a massacre it was last year. 122 points here, April 25th, 1997. What a game of football it was for Norwood, actually thrashing the biggest margin ever handed out to the Port Adelaide Football Club. But what a morning it has been. We've had the Anzac, we've had the marches through the city this morning. I'm sure one bloke who would have been there this morning, David, was our roving reporter on the boundary, Big Mike Parsons. How are you, Michael?
I'm very well, and it is a fabulous day for football. The wind's up. We're hoping the rain stays away. Last year, as Mark has said, it was a very one-sided game. We're hoping for a closer clash this weekend. And David, we saw Port last week and they looked very good.
No question about that. As joining us, Gary Window. Gary, you saw Port Adelaide last week and they looked very, very good.
David, they certainly did. They were awesome last week. First time I've seen them this season, and I tell you, it's going to be a hard game for Norwood today. They were terrific. They've got a bit to make up. In last year's premiership didn't go well for them, so I think it's going to be a big game. I'm expecting Port Adelaide to get up and beat Norwood today.
Well, a 12-goal hiding in the grand final. Port Adelaide, don't forget, even though it's Anzac Day, they will not forget that.
No, that's for sure. And they had a lot of players like Chalmers Brown coming back that weren't up to their true form yet. They're just running into a bit of form. Orman Allen also in there today. Port are a good side, but Norwood, last year's premiers, I don't believe Huskus is playing. That's a bit of a blow for them. I'd like to have seen him.
Now, is there a story behind Adam Huskus, or is he really injured?
There's a lot of rumours going around. I'm not close enough to know. I think there's a fair bit going on. They're saying he's not fit enough, but we'll hear more about that in the week.
I think you're hiding something there. As we go to the premiership table, you'll see that Norwood sitting there in 4th position. Last year, of course, at this time of the year, they were undefeated, sitting on top of the ladder. Port Adelaide, Gary, have that honour today.
Yes, they certainly are. 3 wins, that's good. Norwood getting back after a slow start with a couple of losses, have had 2 wins. So coming back, I tell you, it'll be a ripper. Anzac Day at Adelaide Oval is always good.
And Port Adelaide have a terrific percentage. Norwood not looking so flash.
No, they're certainly not, and they've got a bit of work to do, but Peter Road wouldn't mind that. He's got, after a premiership, it's always hard. He's had the start, but they've regained a bit of composure. It's going to certainly be a good year this year for the SANFL.
Well, it's about kicking goals as we go to the leading goal kickers. This is after round 4. Adam Richardson from West Adelaide, who we believe has a hamstring injury and may miss as many as 4 weeks. But Christian O'Brien, a great performance over the last couple of weeks. 13 goals too. That's very accurate kicking.
And he should stay there. I like this lad. I don't know why he's in and out of the side, but he looks a full forward to me. He's played there as a junior. Looks really good. Jones, 9 there. Scripps, Evans and Filippo, the rest of them.
Paul Evans with 9 goals for the full forward.
I like him.
And in matches last season, round 5 at Adelaide Oval, it was the Anzac Day clash. Look at the massacre. 122 points. Nathan Smart kicked 5 goals too. He's not there for Norwood. West kicked 5 goals 1 in that match. His form this year has been ordinary. James Tyson 3-2 and King with 3 goals 1. And Scott Hodges kicked 2 goals 1 for Port Adelaide.
I don't think we'll see the same as that today. Won't Port be hurting? That's why you've got to go for Port, I think, today. You look at those stats there. It's absolutely unbelievable that Port could get kicked off the ground like that.
Now, the second semi-final, Port Adelaide came back, 22-point victors.
That was good.
But and a lot of people installed them as favourite in the grand final, but Norwood, look at that. Whopping 73-point victors there. That was a big margin in the grand final.
Well, it was, with Easto and Jarman absolutely brilliant there in that game. They haven't got them this year, and you can't see really where Norwood is going to win this, except Harvey back, Cunningham, them types of players are the ones that will lift them around the ground.
Port Adelaide have had to change a lot of players.
Oh, have they? What?
Now, you've been around a lot of years. Port and Norwood, easily the biggest traditional protagonists.
Oh, they certainly are. Now, look, we always mention about Port Adelaide with their 34 premierships, but never forget about Norwood with 27. It's not much over 120-odd years of footy. 2 great sides. I'm expecting a big one today.
Well, no doubt these 2 protagonists will go tough at it today, but over the years, they've had a glorious rivalry.
These are brown, and the sky is a again, that you can build them again. Look around, that's as high, feels so right. It's the springtime of my life. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground.
And the Redlegs take last year's premiership.
Oh,
Stirring
those
pictures.
highlights. Oh, I tell you, I'm getting ready for it already. I can't wait. Anzac Day at Adelaide Oval. You see those highlights. Absolutely sensational.
Well, if you can't be here, I hope you enjoy our live coverage at home. And I think you'll find that pictures like those, there'll be more vision coming out of today's clash. It's a great one. As we go down to the Redlegs rooms, the players warming up, preparing to come on. Gary, this is an important time.
It certainly is, and this is where you get yourself into gear. A lot of players like to have a quiet time, and other players like to get a bit of noise. Some people, and people at home would realise, some people even like to run through lockers and bash themselves around a bit to stir themselves up. But there's a lot of them like that, sitting quietly, and I think that's a preferable way that I like to go. Sit and think about your game, and as soon as you hit that ground, you're ready to go.
Sergei Cook on the warm-up bike.
I liked him last year. He was a good little goer.
Anthony Harvey playing. There was some doubt with the broken wrist, we thought. But he's obviously playing. As we go to the lineup, and Mark Naley, we saw pictures then. You may not have seen them, but Anthony Harvey is warming up.
That's amazing comeback, that, from Harvey, and I didn't think he'd come back. I tell you, these lads nowadays recover pretty well. He'll be a valuable player out there for him on the half-forward line.
Scotty Doreen in the middle, Gary, an important player for Norwood. Given the fact that Gary McIntosh really hasn't been the dominant player that he's been over the last decade.
No, that's for sure, and he'll be a good player for them. They need him. It's taken a while to settle down. Him and Neil coming into that side. They'll expect big things today, a big test for him today against Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval.
Peter Road has had a dream run as the Norwood coach. They won a flag in '84. They won one last year. During the week, we caught up with the Norwood Supremo.
Last year's premiers, 19 wins and 4 losses. Not such a great start to this year. How do you see it so far?
Obviously, we were very disappointed the first 2 weeks. The first game against Westies especially, we played pretty ordinary footy and got beaten by a couple of points. Probably the second week against Sturt, we played a lot better, but lost by more. And then the last 2 weeks, we've been gradually improving. So I see as though obviously we've been a bit undermanned. We had a few blokes out, and had a bit of a slow start of the year, but I think we're on the improve.
And you've had some significant player losses. Andrew Jarman, Stephen Rowe, Simon Easter, to name a couple. What impact has that had on your structure?
I think it's had a huge impact in terms of ruck work, especially. Eastie was very important to us, and Jars at his feet all the time were probably 2 of our most important players last season. Jars one of our best and fairest clearly, and he's a very hard man to replace. We've probably got people to play in the centre in his spot. We've probably struggled more to come up with a ruckman though to fill in for Simon Eastow, and his palming and his ruck work in the back players was enormous last year.
And your other recruits coming in this week?
Yeah, look, we've got Scott Doreen and Robbie Neal have been very good for us, considering they've just started playing in this competition and don't know the competition very well. They've been enormous. They're both very hard at the ball and will both be well suited to playing against Port Adelaide, I think.
Last year's Anzac Day clash was such a one-sided affair. How's the build-up been through this week?
Oh, I think it's been pretty low-key. Obviously Port Norwood, the players sort of look after themselves a bit. They get themselves up pretty well for the game, and my job as coach is to make quite sure they're focused. I think sometimes in big games like this, they can get a little bit over the top and maybe leave all their form behind them on the training track or in the rooms before the game. So we've tried to be pretty low-key, and obviously we've got a huge amount of respect for Port. So guys never underestimate them, and I'm sure it won't be the same result as last year, but hopefully we can still get the points.
Peter, tell us what you see as some of the key matchups this week.
I think that the big thing about Port is they're always very even teams, and you can't underestimate any of them. So we won't be taking anyone too lightly, but obviously we've got to concentrate on our game plan as well.
And what do you see as your advantages going into the game?
Well, I think we've probably got maybe a bit more scoring power up forward. I think with Weston O'Brien and Pascoe maybe as well. We've got some big blokes up forward who can take some marks, and I think a bit of pace around the packs. Obviously Cunningham and Harvey do concern most opposition teams. If they can get a bit of the ball, they can certainly do a lot of damage.
Well, Peter Road, knows the importance of win, but there's Port Adelaide, Gary, and they look very strong. Filippo back at centre-half forward gives them another dimension.
It certainly does, and with Evans, we saw him last week. He's brilliant, kick 4, he's good. And the other ones to watch again today are Ambrose in the ruck and Binky at the full-back, who played well last week also.
Ormond out of a pocket, an interesting move.
Well, he's a madman, but I tell you what, he can play. He gets that white line fever, and he'll hit a few bodies there today.
Well, Stephen Williams would know that a loss last year, their biggest in the club's history, followed by a 73-point loss in the grand final. We caught up with him on Thursday night, and clearly he was a man on a mission.
Adelaide Oval, Anzac Day, a traditional clash. It dropped off a little bit over the last couple of years, but really building again now. How's the build-up been this week?
Yeah, well, it's been one of those games where the coach really doesn't have to do as much maybe as normal. The guys are really looking forward to it. Anzac Day at Adelaide Oval, it's got that little special significance, and we played there last year and we were pretty well embarrassed, so we're looking to do a lot better this year.
You played Norwood 5 times last year, 3-2 the score at the moment. You'd be looking to bring that back to level pegging. Where do you think you might be able to win on the weekend?
Well, I think we've improved our list a bit from last year. We struggled a bit in ruck last year, but Richard Ambrose has been really good for us. We picked up a couple of good on-ballers, Danny Morgan and Andrew Obst, and a little bit of pace with Paul Vines, and Sam Filippo at centre-half forward. So we've recruited some good guys, and I think our side's better than it was last year, so we're pretty confident.
Where do you see Port Adelaide's advantage?
Well, I think around the ball, we're pretty even. They got some really good on-ballers and we got some good on-ballers. I think our back line has been a real strength for us this year, so I'm hoping that we can nullify probably O'Brien and West are their 2 major goal scorers. So if we can nullify those 2 guys, I've got a fair indication that they'll give us, or keep them down to a fairly low score.
I was surprised to read in the paper this week, Stephen, that Port Adelaide haven't actually lost a game in any grades right down to the under-17s.
The club has been really happy, actually. Like you said, not a lost game in any of the grades, so we're going to make sure that we do our little bit this week and hope that the other 3 sides can do the same.
Fantastic. And as far as the player losses from last year, you've mentioned that you've covered those. There's a lot of good players coming through from the juniors as well.
There is, yeah. We lost some terrific players with a lot of experience and a lot of premierships under their belt from last year, but you know, we've got some young guys coming up, and those recruits that we brought in as well have just added to our depth. So you know, we've probably got 4 or 5 good players that can come into the side over the next month or 2, so it just adds for some really good competition between the players.
And competition against the players is what Stephen Williams is clearly after. Todd Davey with the ponytail warming up, back from an AC joint injury, and probably the most courageous player in the Norwood lineup. Looking at him, fellas, he's going to be an important player for them today.
He's got pace to use it. Looks very good.
Anthony Harvey, the other one who is important for the Redlegs. There was some thought that Harvey wouldn't play today as we go to the minute silence for the Anzac Day. We forget the Brave Diggers, who allow us to be here today, Gary, enjoying this magnificent spectacle.
Yes, David, you're dead right there. Today, and it's a day the old mates get together, and you said it, lest we forget. It's just a day that really stands out for me. To be at Adelaide over the Anzac Day clash with Norwood and Port Adelaide, I reckon it is the tradition, and we as Australians certainly love that Anzac tradition.
No worries about that, and plenty of diggers here today. And plenty at home. We hope you enjoy our coverage right through till 5:30. And Chalmers, number 8. Well, Gary?
He's got to do some work, Chalmers, because he's an AFL player. He's really got to put in. Today we'll expect big things from him. He came back for his first one last week. There he is in screen. He's the man that'll want to now, for his own sake, plus Port Adelaide's sake, really get into this game today.
Brian Lee's behind him at centre half back, and Darren Smith to the right, the blonde hair of Darren Smith Now, Brian Lees went away for a year or so, but he slotted back into the Port Adelaide defence like he's never been away.
Yes, he missed that year, especially last year. They need him badly. There's Darren Smith in there, always a good player in this Port Adelaide Magpie side. Cross half forward on the flank now, but still a dangerous player and kicks well for goals.
There is Anthony Harvey with that right wrist, Gary, heavily strapped now. We saw Jim Steins from Melbourne not playing with a broken hand. Now we believe he's got a fractured wrist at best, perhaps a broken wrist. Great courage to front today.
Certainly, they must have gone into that pretty well. Pretty hard to play those injuries if it hurts. Look behind him there, Aaron Keating there with the big helmet on. Good to see him back on the Norwood side, and he needs a big one today for Norwood, because I believe that's their Achilles heel at the moment.
There's a star-studded lineup today. No question about that, Gary. McIntosh.
Talk about battles. Have a look at the battles he's won for Norwood in the past. Absolutely sensational.
Well, he's played a few games, 356 today, Gary McIntosh.
The Anzac tradition that I do it. Just looking at him, it looks like the old diggers of the past. The real goer, the real Australian spirit courses through that little body, I can tell you.
Number one was Darryl Boulays, the Magpie skipper.
Playing well. He likes the captaincy role and playing well with picking up McIntosh. That'll be good to watch today. Umpire there in charge today. Derek Woodcock will take the centre bounce.
Barry Ryan, Ron Bettridge, and to take up the call, your commentator, Gary Window.
Centre of the bounce down, where the Anzac Day clash, Port Adelaide and Norwood. Port Adelaide have got a lot of things they want to do today. There's big Ambrose. He's the one. He's up against Keating at the first bounce. The Anzac Day clash on ABC Sport. Ambrose started off where he ended off last week. The ball out of the centre. They've tried to barge it out. There'll be some heavy body work today. The conditions are pretty good. We've had about 20 millimetres of rain. I did up by the hills anyhow, so it's pretty damp underfoot, but the Adelaide Oval takes it pretty well.
Well, the centre square was covered, Gary, till about half an hour before the reserves game. So that black sticky centre pitch area is pretty firm.
Oh, it certainly is. When they saw the seconds, they could kick either end really well. There's a handball wide. They've got plenty of players running the ball. It's Ashley. He'll kick off the ground out there with a chance. It's Crouch for Norwood. They'll try to get it back on centre wing. Pack of players around the ball. Clayton goes in there hard. Keating, that was well done for a big man. And Norwood trying to get out of the centre. Come through hard. That's a good handball away from Doreen. They've got a bit of pressure on now. Norwood have got it wide.
Bowman from defence. A long bomb towards half forward. Look at the battle at half forward. Lees is taking the position there. Ambrose, who did so wonderfully well last week in ruck for Port Adelaide, feeds it out. It finishes with Hunt, with Filippo. A long bomb, and look at this. Coming out on the lead, their leading goal scorer, and Paul Evans.
He's good. I like the look of him last week. That's the best part about him. His leading is very strong.
Yeah, Paul Evans there, fellas, coming up on screen. It was just a sensational grab. Last week we saw him a couple of times there, come out hard and aggressive at the football. A really good, strong effort, but he surprised me. I know he's on the AFL list at the moment for Port Power's opportunity that he might play this year. Just considering Gary over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks with Scott Cummings, but Paul Evans really is an exciting prospect for the Port Power side.
He's really got to pick this now, the first one of the day at Adelaide Oval. He's banged it long. That's a great goal to Evans. What a start for the Magpies. 1 goal they are, and Norwood are yet to score.
Paul Evans, expecting big things from him. Gary, the Port Adelaide machine have always had a strong full forward. Whether it's been Timmy Evans back in the early 80s, had Scott Hodges kicked that the magnificent score back in 1990 with 154 goals, and now they've got Paul Evans. I think they've always had strong full forwards, this club.
Yeah, that's a good comment, Mark. They have, and they've certainly, that makes a big part of their side. Good conditions now. The sun is out at Adelaide Oval. You're on ABC Sport, the big Anzac Day clash. It'll be a beauty. Out of the centre, a bit of a breeze favouring that northern end as the ball goes wide. Dantosha out there can't get it. Some good body work, knocks it further on. They battle hard out there. Doesn't he look different in a Magpie jumper? Filippo, he's out there, number 4. He can't get it. It's wide on centre wing. They've still kept it in play. Keating started off very well. The ball out of play as Clayton comes over there. Throw in, centre wing, outer side of the ground.
Big Aaron Keating, Gary, he's an exciting player. I mean, last year he's a premiership player, would you have to believe. Came back for 1 game. I could not believe it. But really is, I mean, the Crows need him at the moment, and the Crows are struggling with big man power with Pittman being out. But good to see how the big fella and Aaron Keating goes today.
I think it's vital for their chances today that he gets in on McIntosh. Good handball under bottom of the pack. Away they go. Doreen's got it. He kicks the centre half forward. That's a beautifully placed kick. Right to the right position. And down there it's Jimmy West at centre half forward. Will kick for goal from about, that's 40-odd metres, because all the lines on the Oval today, remember they've got double-header tonight. The Rams play here after this important SNFL clash. Goes in close to the man on the mark. Big Jimmy West. He's plopped it. Oh, that's a good goal up to end that in. That is a real good goal. That's their first. Well done, Jimmy West. A fine retaliating goal.
Big Jim, good job here. Good work from the middle with Dyrene coming out hard. But McIntosh to the bottom of the pack again. Bit of a lucky break there for Big Jim West. Hasn't had the best of seasons, Dave Mackay.
We can't give him a break, can you? You just cannot let him get away.
No, he's a good kick. And that was against the breeze. It'll be a couple of goal breeze to the northern end. That one's against the breeze up to the Bradman stand end. Good goal. That's just what they need early in this game. Terrific start to the game. Bounce down the centre. Keating's done well. This is what Norwood, they'd hope they get in plenty of times this year. Packer players on McIntosh. I love him. He barges through. Can't get out of there. Another bounce down in the centre of the ground. Getting up there. Plenty of new players in these sides. Young Adam Crouch there getting off the bottom of the track, and the man with the ball, 26, is Daniel Morgan, the Essendon recruit for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, Mad Dog Morgan. It's a tough, aggressive player, Gary Window, but last week he was exciting. It was head down, tail up type of football. The sort of player I'm sure that you would appreciate the work ethic.
You've got to get the ball, don't you? And he certainly knows how to do that. Another bounce down to the centre of the ground. Fairly big crowd in here. It's been a bit damp today in Adelaide. The conditions of the Oval don't look too bad. That wind favouring the northern end or the scoreboard end of Adelaide Oval. Bounce down. Big Keating in there. He thumps it away. They try to get it clear. Can't do so. Big pack of players. You'll see plenty of that today till the game opens up. Very important for both sides this game today. Norwood, the premiers last year, and winning the Anzac Day clash by plenty last year. Port Adelaide will want to make amends. They won't get it easy. Knock away from Big Ambrose. What a game he played last week. Another bounce down in the centre of the ground.
Morgan there, fiery red hair, number 26 for the Magpies, up against number 3 in Scotty Dyrene. As the ball's bounced, Big Keating up there, puts the ball down hard. Good work through the middle of the ground. And like Harvey coming through, number 23, McIntosh's in there again. Big Keating throws his weight around. The big fella trying to get boot to ball. Borlase, the captain for the Magpies, also in there. And Macca just holds up proceedings.
Just did that well, didn't he?
Oh, he's a tough, aggressive player. These are his sort of conditions too. A little bit of rain overnight, Gary Window. The ground's a little bit soft. Really will be an impressive start.
Bounce down. They have a go again. Keating in there again. Tries to get it clear. McIntosh can't. Carter's also there. And another pack. You'll see this early in the game. There'll be plenty of this till they sort each other out. Another bounce down just off the centre circle. Equal distance to both ends. Crowd pouring in still. They're still coming from the march. A lot of them won't get here, but they'll watch it on ABC as they bounce down again. Battling out there was Big Ambrose. They can't get it clear. There's a good movement away, though. That's better. Clement drives it long. Goes to full forward. O'Brien out. Couldn't get that ball. It bounces the back of the pack. Knocked away by Lees. It's good play. That allows the players there to clear in Morgan to the outer side of the ground. Plenty of movement there. Handballing away was off. That's good play. He's got his captain in ball ace. Long to the northern end. They come out hard. Evans couldn't mark. Oh, kick away is good stuff going in towards the goal. It bounces awkwardly. Couldn't pick that player up out there. Got behind that big pylon, but it's offline and through for a point to Port Adelaide. A good attacking movement.
Where's the big pylon?
I've got millions here. What's that there? What do you call that? Pile of chips.
They're goalposts.
Deary me. We're in a wonderful position here. I tell you what, it's lovely up here in the box grandstand at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, good work there. Great leap, great jump over the back of the pack by Cook. You see Harvey come out.
Harvey streaks away. A long bomb towards half-forward. Jimmy West out. This fellow is right in this match early. Spears it towards centre half-forward. The fast leads out. No mark taken there. Play on to the umpire. It was O'Brien who came crashing out. Waite just pushes the ball forward. Borlase thumps it further afield. Brown playing 2-on-1. Bentoff, got him. Hobbs gathers the loose ball. The advantage allowed to fly. And Port Adelaide streak away now through half-forward. And out comes Evans. Malloy over the top, Bowman there, hard ball, Ashley upended. Well, free kick to Gary Window, but play on set the umpire as Obst on the boundary line spears it forward and cut off by Ambrose.
That was good play there, and this, I tell you, had plenty of fire early in this game. The long kick looking for Darren Smith. It's all flyers there, no one over the back. It goes wide, it's kicked off out of play for a throw-in on the right half-forward flank.
What a start. We see the crowd here that really are appreciating these two traditional clubs head-to-head today. Remember last year, Gary Window, 122 points. The Magpies are out for revenge.
Throw in half-forward line, but it's all Norwood out there. The kick away is good there by Obbs. Goes to the outer side of the ground. Port Adelaide trying to get it clear. Do so now with the kick goes into the half-forward line. Not many players moving down there. McGuinness was late going. In there now is Borlase. They can't get it clear. A handball towards the line. The umpire's going to say it's deliberate.
Good call by the umpire, Gary. Good call. He saw the handball go directly towards the boundary line. Borlase will bring it back in.
He does it now. He centres it. Umpire goes down behind play. It comes down. Trying to kick it away was Filippo. Couldn't get it away, but Norwood good enough to clear to the outer side. Out near the line. The battling for the ball. And now through Clements will clear to grandstand side.
Clements kick, a long one along the boundary line, grandstand side, but it goes to touch, Gary. And Norwood under a fair bit of pressure back in the defence.
They certainly are, and it's right in front of our ABC commentary position, grandstand side of the Adelaide Oval. A big game for the SNFL today, and especially for these two clubs, Port Adelaide and Norwood.
Ball back into play. Ambrose front position, pushes Keating away. Good effective body work. Clements dives hard on top of it. Sujai Cook, 21 is Brown for Port Adelaide. And the players feeling themselves out, Mark, like a couple of boxers.
Oh, they are. I mean, some great matchups out there at the moment. We've got young Dyer, well, not young Dyer, he's 25 years old, up against Andrew Obbs, the 33-year-old veteran. That's one I'm really looking forward to seeing this afternoon.
Keating, a premiership player last year with Norwood and the Crows. Thumps it down to Pitt, who goes forward. Clayton was very clever, wasn't he? Pushes it off to Polton, who drives it towards centre-half forward. They're playing direct football. Sheer strength back there. Lachlan Bowman marks at centre-half back.
There's a penalty. Bins on the player after he'd taken the mark. Plenty of that goes on today. Oh, Filippo looks different, doesn't he, in that Port Adelaide jumper. There's a long kick from Bowman. Goes down to half forward. Off hands, Carter with a chance. He can't do so. Clayton always does well on the half-back line. He gets it, drives it long, into attack. Smith, what can he do? Intelligent knockover, an absolute beauty. Can McGuinness pick it up? He does. He's tackled, a good tackle. Handballing back towards Filippo. Can't touch it. Away they come with Malloy in defence. And they're out of trouble once more into the centre with McIntosh.
Shell got it across to McIntosh. Macker in turn to Cook. Cook through the midfield. This is good direct football for the Redlegs. A long bomb towards the 50-metre zone. And dropping back and doing the hard work in defence for Port Adelaide was Orman Allen. Gee, looks different in our Port Adelaide Magpies jumper, doesn't he?
Yeah, Orman Allen today, fellas, up against Jimmy West. It's already kicked the one goal for the afternoon. That's going to be a great clash also. But
yeah, is
I mean,
that a
right around the
mismatch,
whole
Mark?
field.
Is that a mismatch?
No, it's not. I mean, Orman Allen, I mean, the Crows realise just how important he is. I mean, he can play half-back, he can play wing, he can play half-forward, or he can play on the ball. He's just that sort of size where he can jump. He has a very good leap about him and very, very strong through size.
Matthew, actually, you didn't mention full-back, Mark. We'll cover you with that one later. Over the head of Borlase, a loose ball falls. Now, the Redlegs working it out beautifully. Defensively, it's Pitt. A long, long bomb. Well done, Clements, underneath that one. Could have won a free kick for one too high, but the umpire said it was incidental. Waite now pushes it out, and this is Morgan short. They're doing it pretty well, the Port Adelaide side. It's Evans on the lead.
That was an intelligent pass, Mark, wasn't it? That's what they've got to do. They lift the eyes.
I'd love to see players that just who have time and space, just look for that vision, have a little bit of the options up there which are going forward. And that time he had Evans, who's already kicked one goal after today's game. Will line up for his second, but it's just good to see players like Morgan. He's got plenty of experience, ex-AFL player.
With Essendon and knows the ropes in big matches. This one is the biggest match.
You could nearly back this bloke. I tell you what, I like him.
Oh, you put the mocker on him already.
He can thump the ball. He has done
Oh,
it.
he's kicked it. It's a good-looking kick off the boot. 2 goals for Evans, right through the middle. They take the advantage, and we're just 12.5 minutes into the first term.
Just see here, Morgan, just plenty of time. Just realised he saw Evans short. Just came inside. Pretty hard to try to find that 50-metre line today, especially with the Rams playing tonight. We've got lines everywhere on the Oval.
I might call, you know, the 30-metre line, the 10-metre line today, but that was a terrific movement. A big game of footy at Adelaide Oval, the Anzac Day clash, when Norwood taking on Port Adelaide. It started at a great pace, bounced down in the centre. Oh, Keating gets over it easily. Handball away is good football. They run through there. Good pass goes in from Cunningham. They dive for the ball down there. Sujay Cook with a chance. Brilliant handball out. They've got a chance tackling there on Cunningham. He's a good player, this bloke. Goes on the right, but he snaps towards goal. Just off line to the left. It's missed.
Great second effort shown by John Cunningham. He's not wearing the knee brace this season. Came back from a fairly serious reconstruction to play in the finals. A very important part of the finals as well. Win the Jack Oatey medal in the grand final day. for John Cunningham.
They did pretty well last year, Mark, didn't they? A grand final win, Jack Odie medalist, Ken Farmer medalist, and a Foss Williams medalist.
And not McGarry, that was shared between Atkinson
You're quite right.
and Jarman.
Yep.
So they did get a McGarry medal.
Yep, thank you, Mark. I'll just point that out. Harvey, slick work out to Obst, who did very well to get through traffic and straighten up through the middle. Now pierces it forward, but the kick was just a little wide. Wait, Sujai Cook, 60 out and closing, just lobs it forward. Was that a push? West was playing for the free kick, but getting back there defensively was Clayton for the Magpies. He pushes it wide to Polton, Gary, and the defences are holding sway.
Yes, they certainly are. Polton, that's a good kick, gets it to Lees, over to Ashley. He's long for the Magpies, into centre half forward on Darren Smith-Lumbers. He's trying to tap it around, but it didn't go to the player he wanted. It gives Brown a chance, but coming through Clement for Norwood. That was a beautiful take off the ground. And I was just going to say the umpire's letting this go, which is probably better. They've picked one out there, and now they go the way of Clement. But he was the man going for the ball, probably deserved it. Clement now. Oh, scrubby looking kick, but it's found his mark out of side of the ground. Off they go again. It's a kick, and yes, he's pulled a muscle. Smith coming off the ground. The kick goes in long for Norwood, but it's offline and through for the minor score. 1-2.
It's going to be a big loss for the fellas. The big centre half forward, Darren Smith, up, but the Iceman, Scotty Hards, on for the afternoon.
Now the matches around town this afternoon. It's Sturt by 5 points over the Eagles at Unley. Central by 3 points at Elizabeth over South. And Glenelg by 4 points just lead West Adelaide at Richmond Oval. So 3 tight games, Gary.
Yes, certainly is there as Binky gets at Ashley. Port Adelaide with a chance. Brown barging through there, can't get it out. The umpire takes charge. Boys, I think the umpires have let it go, and you'd expect that, wouldn't you, in this big clash today?
As I said, a couple of traditional clubs in Port and also Norwood. Just plenty of feeling, plenty of emotion between these two clubs. And I'll just think after last year's grand final, also at this time last year, Anzac Day, where Port were absolutely massacred by the Redlegs. They've got revenge in their eyes.
In this Anzac Day clash, Port 2-1 leading Norwood 1-2. Norwood going against a slight breeze up to the Don Bradman stand end of the ground. It's out of play, centre wing. Good crowd in attendance. The SNFL really alive and well and kicking. And it's terrific to see. These clashes always a traditional game. Always big games, and these two, don't they get into each other? Throw in, outer side of the ground. Keating over the back is good. Ashley started very well for the Magpies. Gets it away. They battle through Obst. He's taken out to ground heavily. Handball away. Polton, it comes wide. And there's Hahn for Port. He falls over. It's good team play, though. He's got Philippo. Oh, was that the good one? Hahn gets it away. Another handball. They're running through there. Kicked off the ground. Trying to get it clear there was Scholl. He couldn't do so. Snapped towards goal. There's a beauty. Absolute sensational from Evans. And it's done it again. Well done, boys. That was a terrific goal. His third. And what a start to the full forward for the Magpies.
Big number 25 for the Magpies. Paul Evans just broke through the pack. If we just go back a few, there he is now. Evans, pure strength. Breaks the tackle, onto the right boot, around the corner, brings up his third goal for the afternoon. What a start by the Magpies.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Port Adelaide team got just nearly his groin, so to speak. Looks like he's turned his groin.
We have a technical difficulty there. It's McGuinness out of the middle. Carter, hard ball, took it on the half volley, recovered beautifully. Around the corner on the right boot, it's Brown. 2 bites of the cherry, not paid by the umpire. Scholl was in pursuit. Now to Obst, who got the call from McIntosh and handballed it straight away to the Norwood skipper. And he delivers it forward. This is Pitt. A high bomb. He's a penetrating kick. Forward it goes. Pascoe off the ground. Did very well, the big man. Second effort was good. And Markey at Polton at half-back right for Port Adelaide.
Very tight half-back line. Polton on one side. Lees in the middle. And also Clayton on the other half-forward flank. Very, very good combination, those three players.
Hahn out there, can't mark. He goes hard. The ball, it's out of play. Centre wing, outer side of Adelaide Oval. Terrific game here today. Anzac Day clash. All the old diggers will be starting to wander in here around the ground now as the throw on the outer side of the ground. Keating's done well in there. Comes away to Ashley again, drives it long into centre half forward. But a good grab. That's a spectacular mark by Bowman. Over the back, the big Norwood centre half back. Always a valuable player for them. Goes long to the outer side of the ground. Plenty of leading players out there. Goes over the head. Do they battle Obst there with young Ashley? That'll be a good duel today. It's out of play on the centre wing with the score, Port 3-1, leading Norwood 1-2.
Keating, two number 18s, Ambrose and Keating opposed. Scotty Doreen, hard ball, Morgan claims him. Good contest, that one. We'll watch as that unfolds. Sujo Cook, 2 bites of the cherry, 3 bites, couldn't take it. Borlase unsettles in with pressure. Now coming in Clayton, and Borlase's second effort was very good. And gathers in Adam Crouch and takes him to ground.
Good call, David. It's that second effort that you just spoke about there. The Port Adelaide players are very good at that, but a good gang tackle by their captain.
Norwood trying to go into attack, do so. That's a big kick. High it goes. Not much distance. They come, but oh, that's a good mark. He's terrific, that lad. Morgan, he's grabbed that beautifully.
Mad Dog Morgan going with the fly of the football. Great courage, great commitment shown by the Yule Redhead fella.
Kick to grandstand side. Lees does well to get it away to Carter. The halfback goes onto the left foot, puts it in the forward line. Obbs does beautifully. Oh, great handball to Brown. Brown has a look. He's found him. It's straight to him. Oh, what wonderful eyes again. Evans has kicked 3. And now, I tell you what, that kick lace out from Brown.
12 months ago, fellas, we sat here and we watched Jimmy West. Very similar start. I think he had 4 or 5 goals on him in the first quarter. I think it was 5 goals in the first quarter. It starts to pour down here at Adelaide Oval. Evans, this could be a great break. 4 goals in the first quarter if he kicks this one.
Evans lining up. Kicked 3 in this first quarter. What a start to the full forward. He's whacked that through, I believe. He's done it. 4 goals in the first quarter. Paul Evans, that's a wonderful start to this game. He's only played 15 games, but that you would think he'd been playing for hundreds of games. A great goal to the full forward.
Yeah, great vision by Brown. It just makes a difference. I spoke before about having that vision, having those options out there. Brown decided not to go for goals. He was on his left leg. They saw Evans there by himself, directly out in front, 15, 20 metres out. Just unselfish football shown by Brownie.
Yeah, he's a consummate team player, isn't it, Brownie? That was absolutely sensational.
Back in the middle, 25 plays 8, a 17-point ball game in favour of Port Adelaide. Norwood need the next goal. They need to stay in touch. It's important time as we go past 20 minutes of the first quarter. Obbs through, feeds off now to Scotty Hahn. A long bomb, but it's wide and a point. Well, dangerous signs, Mark, for Norwood.
Dangerous side, just through the midfield at the moment with the players like Brown, also the Iceman coming through then having a shot at goals. Players like that are very, very important. I think might be a blood rule call. Who there is? Looks like their halfback flanker.
Clayton.
In young Clayton will be coming up. You see the score there, 4 goals, 2, 26, a great start. 18-point margin.
Andrew Obbs has started well, fellas, too. I tell you what, he's getting a lot of valuable touches. His handballing's been valuable.
Pedler prepares to come on. Clayton will go off to seek some treatment. He has been very tough, Mark. I like the way this fellow's played the last season and a half.
He really is maturing, isn't he? I mean, he's only had his sort of second year in league football. He's played 25 games, still only 20 years of age, got a big future ahead of him.
Kick in goes into the centre of the ground. That's a lovely kick, but a good mark taken by Sam Filippo there, falling backwards. Hair shaven this year. Have a look at him.
Well, he looks sort of Port Adelaide-ish now, doesn't he?
I'm just going to say, well done, well called, David. I reckon that's into a nutshell. Long kick goes over half forward. They push, they shove there, but there's that man
25 metres, he's pushed him.
It.
The umpire's not going to give it.
Mark Bailey tried to be an umpire. He hasn't given it back. There was a little push there.
Watch this, Gary Window. Watch this, please.
This is Ticky Touchwood stuff.
No, you watch. He takes it.
Have a look at that. What's that?
Thank you. Pushes straight, 2 hands, straight in the back. Dave Mackay, what do you think?
Oh, that was Ticky Touchwood stuff.
I think the umpires have been umpiring with great common sense today.
Oh, here he goes. Paul Evans now. Let's stay with him. David Mackay, you're a ripper. Evans, this is worth watching, though. There was a bit of a game on with this bloke. He kicks long towards goal. He's missed that one. I suppose it had to happen. He's kicked 4 in this quarter, but what a start to the young Port Adelaide full forward. We're at 22-minute mark of this first quarter. 4-3 Port leading Norwood 1-2.
19 points the margin, 22 and a half minutes gone first term. Stay with us. We bring you this match live today right through till 5:30 is Jerry Dantocchio. Best and fairest from, 3 or 4 years ago. Great player, terrific clubman. And he's played 179 games today, but that one finds Ambrose, the big fella who was best on field last week against Glenelg. Plays on quickly, swings on the left, drives it long. Oh, Evans, confidence high. Big fly over the top of Malloy, and Malloy needs to fight back as the ball goes to ground. Now, Mark, the rhetorical question, do you make the change? Do you take Malloy off? Or do you let things settle down?
Well, a couple of attacks by Jared Malloy from fullback have been good. He's been positive in his play, but at the moment he's just being led to the football by Evans. But Evans, he's been in the right place at the right time. A little bit of lady luck on his side, I think, David.
Shoal thumps it out. Sujai Cook spears around. Feeds it back to Pitt, who's been dominating across half-back, and that's another long bomb in the direction of Pascoe. Lees upends him. Clements comes in hard. Lees works hard for the ball, but Ambrose flicks it out. It's smothered. Pedler now quickly on, and Mad Dog Morgan around the corner. Well, what good desperation as Sujay Cook goes at it. Shoal in support. Now it's Big Keating doing the roving work, and the big fellow blasts it long to Macca, who takes two hands, couldn't complete it. Down goes Ambrose under a tackle. It's Waite on the left boot. It's desperate days out there, and players are giving their all. Philippo comes back for a second effort. Pitt's winning that contest, hands down. It's a handsome win for him in the first term. Dan Tokia to Malloy, and the pressure, but no, a free kick.
Great pressure shown by the Magpies. They're just at it the whole time. Every time a Norwood player gets hold of the football, you've got a black and white Guernsey on that player straight away, but some good work. Just let you know, Philippo's gone to centre-half forward on Lachlan Bowman.
Kick comes wide. That's Harvey out there. He'll go around the centre wing. Long kick in there, going to centre-half forward player, and Pascoe. Lees is behind. Can't grab it. It's on the ground. He knocks it forward, but McIntosh that read that better than anyone. Beautiful handball wide into the path of Clements. He goes short in there. That gives the players a chance down there to fly high. It was O'Brien. He couldn't get it near the line. It's Pedler, and he just runs out of play. The umpire says that's fair enough, and they're going to throw it on the right half forward flank for Norwood. Good game of football at Adelaide Oval. The Anzac Day clash, lest we forget, and we certainly won't, on ABC Sport. Throw in, knocked away by Ambrose. Comes down to Binky. He does well, kicks it out, the Port Adelaide defender towards the grandstand side. The ball dribbles out of play for a throw in.
The wind is favouring the northern end, which is left of screen, so the Magpies are kicking with fellas with, I reckon, around about 2, maybe 3 goals. So at the moment, it's not too bad. Don't just panic just yet.
Well, if we can fix Michael Parsons up on the boundary, we might find out in just a moment or two. Ambrose and Keating. What a battle that's been, Mark. Honour shared, I'd suggest, at this stage.
Yeah, Bowman's coming off as well with blood pouring from his nose.
They want to get him back there quick, I tell you.
And big Tom Harley's coming on to replace him. The young 19-year-old going straight to centre-half back. A renowned backman as the umpire blows whistle back on again.
Plenty of talent, Harley. Keating and Ambrose go at it again, the big fellows. Ambrose wins the tap. Down it goes. Cook, who's roving beautifully. Off it goes to Doreen, who bends it around the corner. Underneath this one's Cunningham. 50 out and closes. Goes long towards goal. It's right through the middle. What a kick to Cunningham. Gets his first. And the Redlegs come back within 13 points.
Just watching that pack form then. Cunningham decided, saw the ball going towards the northern end. Decided to just punt himself a little bit, Gary Window. Decided to go towards centre-half forward position. The ball came out, lifted the eyes by the Norwood players, saw him there by himself, but he was quick to get on with the play. He was inside of 50, knew he had 10, 15 metres, turned his back and kicked the goal. And a much-needed goal by the Redlegs.
Yeah, well called, Mark. No, you've hit it right on the head there. But Cunningham do that. I tell you what, he's the most dangerous player in that Norwood side. He's one of those footballers. He knows football. He reads football well. That was a terrific comeback by the Redlegs.
Lachlan Bowman, tough competitor, Mark. There's very few tougher around as we go back to the centre. There was Keating winning it down. Morgan had an airy, almost connected. Mitchell, Carter got it from Ashley. And now Tom Harley at centre-half back. So the Redlegs showing some composure as the ball will come back. 50-metre penalty.
50 or 25 possibly, as Porter pulling another change with like Clayton coming back on and Pedler coming off.
There's the kick down to centre wing. It's off hands there. No, he's grabbed that. That's a good grab, and they need plenty of that today as Crouch has grabbed it. The red leg youngster drives it long down to the full forward area. West couldn't mark it. So here he is again. Cunningham, he can do anything with a football. This bloke, he pops it into the centre. Probably not the best option. It could come off. Down to Sujay Cook. The red leg rover goes goal. It's a goal. Oh, what a comeback in this first quarter with 27 minutes in. Norwood hitting back hard against the breeze. Port lead 4-3. Norwood 3-2.
The chef, he was cool, he was balanced. As you see it coming in here, Cunningham again. Rovers goal, bit unselfish, should have gone for the shot, but only about 15, 20 metres out. Decided he saw the big fella in a full forward, O'Brien, but Cook, pure class, the chef, mate. He's just a cut above the rest. Good goal by Norwood. They're back in it, Gary.
Oh, they certainly are. That's a great comeback. You mentioned before, Mark, that's a 2 or 3 goal breeze to the northern end. Norwood now with the big fella Keating in there. He's winning in the rucks now. He's too tall. They get it out of there, the centre. Try hard. Handball goes wide. They're battling through Doreen. He can't get it. McIntosh only knows one way. Hard over the ball. He can't get that one. Bounce down right in the centre of Adelaide Oval. The Anzac Day clash on ABC Sport. This will be a beauty. 3-2 Norwood, trailing Port 4-3, and we're near the end of the first quarter. Bounce down. Big pack of players there. You have a look at Big Keating's reach. There it goes again. Knocked away. They can't get it clear. Now do so. Bashed back into the centre of the ground. Carter with a chance. He'll have to do more. He's caught. Gets it away to Ambrose. He handed that ball away. It's hard. He's got it. Runs through centre half forward. It's long. It's long. It's close down there as the siren blows. It's off hands and through for a point.
A 7-point margin here, Gary. Window at quarter time. What a great quarter of football. Just what we come to expect from these two sides. Port up against Norwood this afternoon, but some great quarter. Firstly, it was Paul Evans' show to start with the first 15-20 minutes. What a show it was. 3 or 4 goals he kicked. He kicked 4 for the quarter. Great effort. But Norwood, to their credit, they've come back. They've fought back. They got a goal from Cunningham through the middle. The big Jim West is no better than big Jimmy West. Leading goal kicker last year with 1 goal, and also Big Cook. He's come in the last 9 seconds, pure class, the chef, but he's out and about. But Gary Window, what a game of football we've got in our hands.
Oh, the Anzac Day clashes, they're absolutely terrific. The score at the end of the first quarter on ABC Sport, Porter leading the 4 goals for 28, leading Norwood 3-2-20, and it's been a great game. You're watching the SANFL live and exclusive to ABC Sport.
An 8-point margin as we're at quarter time at Adelaide Oval. We hope you're at home enjoying this out of the rain, as rain has just started to fall at Adelaide Oval. Well, Port Adelaide lost a lot of players over the summer, 20 in total, but they recruited pretty well. They bought Brian Lees back from Richmond. They bought Brian Binky back from North Melbourne. We get to catch up a little bit more on the life of Brian's.
My name is Brian Lees. I'm 6'4". I'm 27 years of age and I weigh 95 kilo.
My name is Brian Binky. I'm 22 years old. I'm 184 centimetres tall and I weigh 90 kilograms.
Played for Frankston in the VFL. There was a few Richmond boys down there that I played with in the past and they were pretty keen to get me down there.
Away from Port, I was over at North Melbourne. I played a year of reserves footy over there.
The coach is wonderful, but he doesn't like his players wearing blue boots.
I've got the utmost respect for Steve. He was one of my favourite players as a younger player.
My running, I suppose, because I generally keep myself fit enough to run a lot, so that's it. And my arms, I suppose.
My attack on the ball is good. I think I've got a good pair of hands and I read the play quite well.
My weaknesses, I don't really think I have too many weaknesses.
Probably my lack of speed.
Aggressive, hard at the ball, hard working.
Port's playing style is, it's no frills footy.
Apart from my hotel in Melbourne, I'm working on 5DN on a Friday night with Neil Baum.
At the moment, I'm currently employed at Channel 9 in sales. I've been there for about 2.5 months now, and I'm really enjoying that. It's been really good.
As we go to the quarter-time scoreboard here at Adelaide Oval, it's an 8-point ball game with Port Adelaide holding sway. And there is the quarter-time scoreboard. 3-3-21, the Redlegs. 4-4-28, Port Adelaide. Goal kickers mark for Port Adelaide. Evans really has been the star.
Oh, it's an outstanding player at the moment. He kicked 4 in that first quarter, and also for Norwood, we've seen Jimmy West kick the first one for the day. Cunningham followed up with 1 also, and Sujay Cook, the chef, kicked 1 in the dying moments.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line.
And the coach of Port Adelaide, Williams, was a bit concerned about the runners for Norwood, wanted them to be manned up, even if they had to stand off the pack. Very concerned about McIntosh and Harvey, the amount of times they've put their hand on the ball. And also a little concerned that Norwood were able to get 2 goals in time on, looking for a second effort and to run the quarter right out. At the other end, Peter Rode, reasonably happy with the Norwood effort there, wants them to use the wind. It's very strong wind down here still, going into the second quarter. And ask his players to beware of the switching of the ball that Port Adelaide employs so effectively. So both coaches looking for a continued strong effort as we go into this second quarter, David.
Thanks very much for that, Michael. As we go to the first quarter highlights, look for Paul Evans kicking 4 great goals, Mark. He was a focal point for Port Adelaide.
I wouldn't mind knowing also, with the big fella down there and passes, which way the wind is blowing and how strong it is. But you see here, Gary Window, to start with, some great work shown here, some great composure by Danny Morgan. The Mad Dog Morgan just chips it across to Evans. I think this was his second for the afternoon, but what a goal. He's got a powerful kick on him, hasn't he, Gary Window?
Great kicking action. Have a look at that, straight through the centre. He's done that 4 times in this quarter and certainly looks the part.
You see Jared Malloy coming out there also. Great mark by the chef. Cook over the top. Great grab.
Certainly good playing, Port Adelaide. They're using that ball well through there. They had to in this first quarter with that breeze to the northern end. Here he is. This was a ripper from Evans, this one. That's good for a full forward. He snapped that one.
Just brute strength that was through Evans. But another good chance here. Great one-handed mark taken by Lachlan Bowman. Went dying back, one arm over the air. But we see the Magpie machine going forward with Brown across to Evans. That's his 4th for the afternoon, David.
And Evans was just beautiful, wasn't he? 4 goals, and they're amazing, Tim. Evans kicks goals for Port Adelaide, then Scott Hodges comes along, and now it looks like Paul Evans might just take the mantle. As we see Peter Rode on field, just addressing the Norwood players, we go down to Michael Parsons, an injured Port Adelaide recruit, Shannon Corcoran.
Yes, thank you, David. With me is Shannon Corcoran, one of the unluckier players in the league, or almost in the league. Shannon, coming back to South Australia this year, things haven't quite worked out how you'd like.
No, that's exactly right, Mike. I unfortunately didn't even get to play round 1. I did my knee the last practice game, so it was pretty disappointing coming back, but that's footy, I suppose.
And you started your footy in South Australia with the Bays, and you've been around a little bit since then.
Yeah, I think I've just about lived in every city in Australia. I had a stint in Melbourne with Footscray for 5 or 6 years, and then a couple of years up at Brisbane, and last year with the Sydney Swans. So it's been great fun, but yeah, it was good to get home.
And probably the things that aren't fun at the moment is the rehabilitation. What have they got you doing to try and get that knee back in shape to get back playing football?
Yeah, look, it's a long, slow process, obviously. I've been doing a lot of hydrotherapy in the water and that type of thing, just basically trying to lift it and bend it and things like that. So, but hopefully down the track I'll come back as good as new.
And Paul Evans today, he's had a great start and a couple of grabs that you'd be impressed with.
Yeah, Evo's been on fire. You know, he's kicking from long goals from outside 50 has been terrific, and he's getting a good jump at it, so hopefully he can kick a few more in the second half.
OK, Shannon, thanks very much for your time. David, it's all yours.
Thanks for that pass. So we see Scotty Doreen on screen, and we thank Shannon Corcoran. We know that his father, Brian, will be watching in Alice Springs, as a lot of our viewers are in the Northern Territory. We hope you're enjoying this Anzac Day clash. It's Norwood and Port, and to pick up the commentary in the second quarter, it's Gary Window with Mark Nayley.
Oh, an absolute ripper of a first quarter. I tell you what, Norwood did well to get back into that with the 3 goals, because there's a strong breeze going to the northern end where Norwood will go in the second quarter. Keating's been wonderful in ruck against Ambrose. Now Chalmers is in there. Let's see what happens start of the second quarter. There he is, the big fella Keating again, out of the centre. That's good play. The kick goes long into full forward. Overrunning it, there's O'Brien. That'll give Binky the chance. He just goes through and lets it run through for point. And that's a minor score to the Norwood side. 3-3 they go to Norwood, trailing Port Adelaide 4-4.
Yeah, good start there by Norwood. You're right, Gary. Big Aaron Keating's getting his hands on the ball. He's jumping all over Ambrose at the moment. That's going to be a big plus for Peter Rode this afternoon. If they can control the middle square, that's where they're winning at the moment. They've got a long way to winning this game.
There's the kick in, goes back in, gives Port Adelaide a chance through Orman Allen. He kicks to grandstand side. It's off the side of the boot. Out of play, but not on the full for a throw-in. Yes, a good start to this game. The Anzac Day clash on ABC Sport. Port lead 4-4 to Norwood 3-3. 7-point lead to the Magpies. There's Keating again. He's been valuable in there. Gets a tap away. They can't get it clear very easily. Borlase does well. Gets a handball. Clayton's on the end of that. He drives long further down centre wing. They battle hard for the ball. Hahn's got a chance. Tries to get it out there. Can't do so. Bowman tackles. The ball goes to Filippo. He's pushed under it. Ashley, beautiful handball. Gets it away to Hahn. He drives the Magpies into centre forward. Oh, big strong body work there by Ambrose. He's got plenty of players short. He does the same with the wrong option. Absolute shocker. And in the way, Stephen Pitts.
A comedy of errors there by the Magpies going forward. Norwood now will rebound with some great flashes.
Goes wide to the outer side of the ground. Awesome, good body work there. The umpire's letting go. It's out near the boundary line. They battle hard through Waite. He gets the handball away. Plenty of players in there. Kick off the ball. Ground by Clayton. It goes into the half-forward line. They battle hard. Oh, big body goes through there.
In other matches around town this afternoon, the Eagles by 2 goals over Sturt at Adelaide Oval this afternoon. Glenelg by 10 points. Oh, the Glenelg side are on the way back. And Central, 39 points, a blowout against the Panthers at Elizabeth this afternoon. Stay with us till 5:30. We're bringing you the Anzac Day Clash live on ABC Football. Well, Mark, it's a bit of an arm wrestle, but to be fair, 7 points the margin. Norwood still very much in the hunt and playing pretty strong football.
Look at the characters that come into the football there. A man really does enjoy it. But you're right, Dave. This game will go down to the wire. I mean, looking at 4-4-3-3, there's nothing in this game at the moment. Just expect big things. But the Redlegs, they're a good side. Last year's premiers. They're going to go down without a fight.
Hobbs bounds away, professionally running over the summer. Certainly hasn't hurt him. And a long bomb towards West. What a kick it was. West is right on the 50-metre line. With the breeze at his back, can go back and kick a goal.
Big Jimmy West. Kick from just outside of 50. What a play he has been last year. Sensational move from Glenelg back to Norwood and won a premiership plus the Ken Farmer medal.
And from 51 metres out, he just stays over the top of it, but it's off to the right and a point to James. Gives him 1 goal 1. But at least Gary is getting his hands to the ball. He's creating a contest. He's looking like he's got a lot more confidence than when we saw him earlier in the year.
Yes, certainly. He'll come back. They need him back in form. He's a good goal kicker, as he proved last year in the premiership side. They certainly need him firing today. This is a top game of footy, I tell you what. It's going to be interesting as it wears on, as Clayton brings the ball, looking for Binky. Can't find him. It's over the back. The umpire could have let that go. He doesn't. Yes, he says, sorry, boys. Well, that's well done by umpire Woodcock. Sorry, boys, and brought it back.
It's a bit tough. I mean, he was 3 deep, the player coming through. The player in front of him actually shepherded him out of anything.
Over to Brown. The Magpies are getting some good run through the centre. Ashley's been good for him. Gets away off ball ace. That's a good take. Onto the left foot. Who's he got down at half forward? No one, but comes to Binky. He's run down. That's good. He goes short, though. Plenty of pushing and shoving there, but there's a free kick gone back to the fullback, and Binky, I think is it? No, it's been paid up the ground. A free kick on Binky behind play, I believe. And now the free kick, another half-back, and Carter to take it. How's that the way Port Adelaide are running, David? And Mark, they're really running down. They're trying to flood the forward line.
Yeah, great work by ball ace through the middle. Just took it cleanly, got onto his left boot very, very quickly up to Binky. And Binky, under a fair bit of pressure, threw it on his boot and got a free given down the field, which Carter's ended up with it.
Half-backs, it's amazing how they do this. He might kick a goal now. He puts it high. It's not a bad-looking kick. It's drifting, but not straight enough. Offline, up to that Bradman stand end. And it's through for the minor score.
Well, fellas, last year, the Port Adelaide machine, a little bit tired come grand final day. A lot of old legs with the old Geneva coming through and Delaney, a few of the older players, but this year they have retired. They lost, as you said, lost 20 players over the summer, but they're recruited. A lot of young, fresh legs out there. Just need a little bit of experience now, and that Port Adelaide machine will be back in force again.
Well, Obster's one of the recruits. I'm not sure that you'd call him young, fresh legs, but he's certainly a quality running player. And Evans fights hard for it. I like the way this guy goes about his work. Ashley flips it out the back door. The target was Morgan. He's cleaned up by Bowman. It created a hole, didn't it, for Doreen to come through. A long bomb. Sujay Cook goes to ground. Carter, who had the last snap for goal, just struggles to get Cook the ball. Finally dispatched it away. Oh, good courage. All players. Obst runs away from Ashley. Gary Window like that, and a high bomb towards fullback. And Binky destroys from behind, brings the ball down. Carter flicks it forward. This is good work as Lee's in turn. Morgan looks for support, pushes it out long in the direction of Brown. Brown was just having a breather just for a moment on the outer wing, and a short one finds Filippo. Well, the number 1 cut certainly. Well. Big recruit for Port Adelaide from Woodville West Torrens. Ashley over the top of it, snaps and misses.
Bring it back.
Oh, I thought he's going to let that go then.
I think he would have paid the goal if it was kicked. He would have played the advantage, but a free kick. A little bit high by Malloy. He's now got Ambrose to look after, or maybe not Ambrose to look after, but he's up there at the moment. Yes, the change has been made. Malloy is on Ambrose. And number 10 for the Redlegs has gone back there, Robert Neal, who a couple of weeks ago that we covered did get moved back to fullback also.
He did. You're quite right. Brett Chalmers having a run on the ball after a struggling first quarter. Stephen Williams obviously feels that a run in ruck will be beneficial to his big man. And Ambrose has a sortie in the forward line. And now from 48 metres out, almost directly in front, a chance of putting through his first for the afternoon. He has been a goal kicker, Ambrose, has played full forward before. In 31 games before today, he's kicked 20 goals. So he knows how to go about it, but that one is sprayed right out to the right. kicked almost like a defender.
I know it's easy sitting up here, Gary Winter, but just then you just see Ambrose got that close to the man on the mark. It's just the only way the ball could go was either up high or pushed out wide, and as we saw, out to the right.
Big bloke wouldn't be happy with that. Wasn't a good attempt. Port 4-5 leading Norwood 3-4. We're 7 minutes into the second quarter on ABC Sport on this Anzac Day game at the Adelaide Oval. It's out of sight of the ground. Chalmers couldn't mark. Wait in there does well to go hard at the ball, but it's out of play for a throw-in. Windy conditions at Adelaide Oval for this big game. I tell you what, it's a very important game in the context of this season for both these sides. When you're there, Mark, don't you have to put it on? You want to beat this best opposition you can, and both these sides want to do that today.
Well, it's Anzac Day, Gary. I mean, there's been a lot of tradition about these two sides.
Big Keating, oh, I tell you what, he's doing a crook old job in ruck. He's a brainy ruckman, Keating. He's a good player. Over to Carter. He kicks long into the forward line. Goes awkwardly there for all players. They battle through there. Good body work by Hahn. Also in there was Pitt. It's out of play.
Well, there's been plenty of talk about these two sides. Should they have Anzac Day to themselves on Adelaide Oval? I just think at the moment, we saw, I think, comments by the Sturt coach and Phil Coleman. He'd love to be able to play here on Anzac Day.
Like most players would, Mark. McIntosh goes to the back door. Filippo handballed forward, but under pressure again, and Dan Tokia just inside the line. A high one to the outer wing, and a pack of players fly for it. Pascoe was there off hands and out of play.
They've got to generate some movement, Mark. Norwood, they've got this breeze now, but they've got to use it well. They're playing into Port's hands at the moment.
It's nice open forward line. They've only got Jim West sitting up there, also O'Brien right in the last line, but there's plenty of space there for West to move into. He's up against Trent Orman-Allen, who he will give a roundabout, or he takes about, I reckon, 4 or 5, possibly 6 inches on Orman-Allen, but maybe on the ground level, maybe Orman-Allen might have a little bit of an advantage, but there's plenty of space out there. Just needs a little bit of movement, quick movement from the football from their midfield to get it in there quickly.
Harvey kicks out on the full, taken there by Clayton. Half-back flanker for the Magpies, up against the breeze, outer side of the ground. It's off hands back of the pack. Filippo reads it better than anyone else. Can't keep it in play. Throw in. No, there's a free kick being picked out. Keating says, what do you reckon, umpire? I didn't do anything wrong. Don't players always think that? As the free kick goes to Chalmers. Good to see him back in the Port Adelaide side. Drives long, well over half forward. They battle there through Ambrose. Comes down to the front of the pack there. Ambrose does well for a big man. Gets it away. Can't really give it to any player. Sujay Cook's over the ball best for Norwood. Kicks it roughly away, but it's no good. It's out on the full.
Fair bit of pressure there. Young Polton putting the last hand on Cook as he kicked it. Just forced the ball out of bounds on the full. The Chalmers fellas, I reckon he plays his best work, or does his best work, in the ruck. The only position you can play him.
Well, I agree with you. I tend to think that he can play centre back, but he's certainly best position is in ruck, and the Crows really didn't utilise him greatly in that position, or let him settle in the position. Malloy, a grubber towards the boundary line. The kick found touch beautifully, and it's significant that rugby, Gary, is being played here tonight.
I can't believe that. I've never thought I'd see the day. We're calling the big Anzac Day clash on ABC Sport, and tonight the Rams are here for the big rugby league game. Throw in. Sun comes out at Adelaide Oval. I love Anzac Day. You can remember all those past heroes of ours, and this is heroes all playing in this game as Ambrose has got it centre back for the Magpies.
Go back, big fella, go back and kick it. You're only just outside of 50.
That's a rover talk. He always went for goals. Daly, you beauty. Ambrose has got it. He's got a short pass. Carter's got him there again. How on Norwood letting him go, Mark? God, those half-backs are just running in there.
Scotty Irene, a little bit lazy on picking up Stephen Carter, then just wandered down. He's had one shot at goal already this quarter, going for his second. I think he wants to kick a goal.
Certainly does. He's only about 35 metres out, kicking into the breeze there. He's usually a good kick for a half-back. Goes off when you put him off there. It's offline. It's through for the minor score. Port go to 4-7, leading Norwood 3-4. We're at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter.
Mark, he averages a goal every 4 games. So he's not...
He's an attacking halfback. Yeah. A little bit of push and shove down here on the half-forward flank too between Ashley and also Obbs. I think Ashley needs to do a job on Obbs because Obbs is a lightning player.
Jonathan Newbury prepares to come on as at the back Clayton. I like the way this guy goes about it. In much the same way Ivan Eckerman and Tony Giles were great half-backers, flankers in the 70s. Oh, Mark Nardi doesn't like those. Filippo wins the free kick as Newbury comes on.
Free kick.
And Keating
Look
off.
at this.
What do you reckon?
Just two players in an attack on the football.
So Filippo spears it long and low. Ambrose was the target. Cook did well to fill the hole. Obbs over the top. Malloy.
No left leg. Second time being caught out.
Good comment, Mark Nayley.
Well, I don't know that he had a kick anyway, Mark.
His second time he's been caught out this quarter. He's been pushed to the boundary both times.
Carter.
The first time, lucky to get away with his right leg.
Even if he-
time caught out, had to use the handball.
Even if he kicked, Ormond Allen was back there, Carter was back there, and there wasn't a Norwood player within 30 metres. I think he took the right option.
The throw in that comes about. Doreen's got it away, tries to get it into the half-forward line. Ormond Allen, we haven't called him much today. He gets it for Port Adelaide. Drives long half-forward, looking for ball ace. He can't mark. He's held. The ball's out of play. Throw in on the right half-forward flank for the Magpies.
Another old digger, Mark. They are just magnificent with their medals in the crowd at Adelaide Oval.
They're proud.
Yes, it gives you goosebumps, Anzac Day. And we're here good enough to be watching the footy day, Norwood and Port. And you remember all the old diggers on Anzac Day on ABC Sport. There's Sujay Cook for Norwood. He's got it. Drives long and badly straight to Ashley on centre wing for the Magpies. He'll handboard inboard. It's Clayton, a real goer for the Magpies. Drives it long to full forward, but in the way, Pitt has grabbed it. Good relieving mark.
Underrated Pitt had a stint with Collingwood, 13 games there for 13 odd goals, and then they traded him to the Western Bulldogs where he didn't want to play, and he finds himself back home with the Redlegs and playing a starring role this afternoon. Pascoe lumbers after the ball. Lee's just gave him a on the boundary line, and across the line it goes. And there's a young fellow enjoying the football at Adelaide Oval, and the rain has stopped. It's perfect weather for football, slightly overcast, and the Oval in magnificent condition.
Yes, and today we remember the Anzacs. It's a big clash at Adelaide Oval. It's McIntosh. What a battler he's been for the red leg side. Can't get it. It's out wide there. They battle for the ball hard. McIntosh in there, always at the bottom of the packs. The crowd yell and scream over there, and a free kick's gone the way. Must have been a bit harsh there, Macca. It's gone there to Borlays. He'll drive short. Short little kick, only went about 15 metres and finds the big fella Chalmers.
He does look better, Gary, in ruck, doesn't he?
That's a very good comment. He certainly does, as it goes wide to the outer side of the ground. There's that wind has blown it out. Clements with the chance to bring Norwood back into attack. They need a goal, Norwood. They need, as that wind really blowing up now at the Adelaide Oval. And the end that Norwood are going with, that wind certainly favours that end. It's off hands, front of the pack. They battle hard in there. Sujay Cook gets it away. They lumber around there. Good one to McIntosh. Oh, he's taken off the ball hard. That allows Norwood to go in short, but in the way is Binky. He can't mark. Front of the pack, they battle for it. And there's a battle there for the ball. And a free kick being picked out the way of the fullback, Binky, for Port Adelaide.
Binky back this year from North Melbourne. Matthew Ashley, great courage underneath that one. Cunningham was bolting in. Pretty fair contest at this stage. Even money for both Rovers. As the Ashley kick holds up in the breeze, neither players, Bowman or Filippo, could read that one. Off hands it was Scholl, a long bomb forward. Binky just got fist the ball. Well done, West, but Ormond Allen was right on the spot. West got away the handball. Sujay Cook straightens up, bends it around. It's coming back, but not far enough. One behind the result. We are 15 minutes in to the second quarter.
I think it's out in the full, fellas. Cook just trying to throw his boot, but the wind, you'd be surprised just how much it has picked up in the last, say, 10 minutes. It really is favouring. Norwood need to go in half-time, at least 1 or 2 goals up.
Comment there from Mark Nayley as Ashley for the Magpies kicks long to the outer side of the ground, holding up in the breeze. Who can grab that? And there's the player we mentioned, Chalmers, playing very well today in the ruck for Port Adelaide. Kicks to the centre of the ground. Hahn in front. He's a real goal, this bloke. He's in front, takes a strong mark. Centre wing, outer side of the ground. He's got leading players to the flank. Goes in that direction for Lees. Off hands from the front of the pack. Brown can't take it. They battle hard in there. Plenty of tackling. Cunningham only knows one way. Gets the ball. Drives it long. Further around centre wing. In there, Clayton with a chance for the Magpies. He can't get it. They try to get it off the ground. In there hard. They battle for it in Clements. He's tackled off the ball. Good tackling on West. Through again is Polton. Hard work out there. You'll get this today as Obbs kicks the ball straight up in the air. Right under the players there. They can't get it. Off hands to the front of the pack. Cunningham with a chance, and he kicks Norwood into attack.
It's a high one. Underneath this one, Polton sets himself. Ormond Allen, the big fly. He has no fear at all, Ormond Allen. Carter just struggles. Second time, gathers it in, streaks through the centre, and plies the kick forward. But look at that. Ambrose caught forward, and reading it beautifully was Malloy.
Will he kick with his left leg? I don't think so.
You're pretty dirty on his left boot, aren't you? Well, what's that? Play on, said the umpire, as players get entangled. Not a bad decision. As Morgan pushes it forward, over the top goes Dantokia. Couldn't bring it down. Now it's Yerbury going to the back door. Short, Lachlan Bowman has Dantoki the target. Sujay Cook came 3 deep, tried to flick it forward. We are 16.5 minutes into the second term, and it's an 8-point ball game. It's a 9-point ball game at Adelaide Oval.
Certainly is. Port by 9 points. You're on ABC Sport. Live and exclusive today, you're watching the Anzac Day clash between Port and Norwood. What a ripper it's been so far. Hard, tough, and plenty of skills. And there's one of them. Sujay Cook, you little ripper! He's stopped it! What a goal! His second. The goal of the day nearly so far. The wind behind him. An absolute ripper. Port Adelaide still lead 4-7 to Norwood on 4 goals 4.
You see the Cook, the chef, he comes through the middle of the ground, outside of 50, nearly taken out there, a bit late with the boot, but possibly given the handball with a great shot from goal. The breeze behind him.
What did you say? Possibly given the handball?
Oh, well, he could have possibly given one across the top, but the 17.5-minute mark, we've got a game of football on our hands. Gary Window.
Oh, that was beauty, handball. You never handballed in your life. I couldn't believe you made that statement.
Gary, there are a few people that say the same of you, by the way. As we're back in the middle, it's Port by 3 points. The Anzac Day clash coming to you live from Adelaide Oval on the ABC. Yeobury it was who wins the tap. Loose ball falls down, and streaking away now is Morgan. Hahn, was it? Thank you, fellas. And this little fella, Paul Vines from Brisbane, marks him with a timely mark and a little chip forward. Well, they used the ball pretty well, Port Adelaide, today so far, Mark, haven't they?
There's good vision going forward, just controlling it. The player's there short by himself. They are using him at the moment, but this breeze at the moment, fellas, it is picking up. It's nearly a hurricane out there.
Well, Hahn has a point and is kicking into the breeze of what, or the teeth of what Mark Naley calls a hurricane. Gee, you've gone soft. And that's a beauty. Right through the middle, 1 goal, 1 for the Iceman. Hahn gets 1. Port Adelaide just steady.
Oh, great reply by the Magpies. We just saw a goal kicked only moments ago by Sujay, the chef, Cook, going down the northern end, straight out of the middle of the ground. First bounce, knocked down, away we go. The Iceman comes through, kicks it up forward, follows his ball down, takes it back, and kicks into the hurricane, brings up his first goal for the afternoon, and the Magpies back in front.
What a day to play football. You're on ABC Sport. It's Anzac Day, and what a ripper we've got here. Stay with us. We'll be with it all day as the big fellas go in the centre again. Knocked away. They've got a chance. Norwood through Clements. He puts it into the half-forward line. Scrubby kick. Knocked away to the front of the pack. Sujay Cook taken out there. Comes down to pole goal. Brilliant smother. That's off. That's a beautiful smother. He's got it. Wheels back onto the right foot. Where's his kick? Going to Pascoe. Doesn't come off. And that'll allow Lees to kick up. Look at the breeze holding up. Drops there to mark at centre wing by Clements.
It's a hurricane. We just saw the ball. It's a hurricane.
Harvey's got it. He drives long for Norwood. That's the best way to go with this breeze. It's off hands, back of the pack. There's a chance there for O'Brien. Kicks off the ground. Is it there? It's close. It's through for the minor score. Oh, that was desperation stakes.
Well, 3-on-1, but O'Brien, he wanted the ball back in, realised it wouldn't get through, dived over the top of the pack to try to bring it back in, scoop it back in, but 3-on-1 just couldn't quite make it. But this intensity of this game is just picking up. The wind's blowing. The players are just giving their all. They can't keep this pace up for the whole match.
I think they might. O'Brien, 13 goals, 2 for the year. I think he tried to smother that point to not affect his kicking ratio this year. Carter deep in the back pocket. Short, Lee's the target. Big spoil Yeobury. Didn't get hand to ball, but it made it effective. Ormanella got hit in the face with the footy. Oh, he stayed down just momentarily too. Full-blooded kick right in on the scone.
Broke a jaw last year, playing for the Crows with a big hit from the big, what's his name there? O'Sullivan for Carlton, but took one right in the face there. Does not look good. Groggy, most probably concussed by now.
Morgan around the corner, stolen away by Harvey. A long one towards West, pushes off Clayton. That's a better mark-up, I think. And desperate work. Clements, backdoor, O'Brien, Sujay Cook, 2-goal man, a high bomb to the point of the square. Good body. Pascoe did all the hard work and couldn't complete the grab.
Yeah, Pascoe just playing from behind, the big lump of a fella. I don't think he's had a possession this afternoon. I would doubt it.
Oh, football's unfair, isn't it? What about Orman Allen there? That really hit him in the gob. They really hurt. And that certainly was a bad blow for Port Adelaide. The kick comes into Obst in the back pocket. He tries to get in that breeze. That's well done by Chalmers. Now, that's better for the big fella in front. I don't mind those. He was in front. He put himself there. He's been paid the free kick. Chalmers now for the Magpies, drives it long around centre wing. In there they battle hard for the ball, a boot comes off, it's Carter, left to Lees, he's got a player, loose in Ashley, that's the way it goes, Ashley's got it, plays on, gets a handball to Ball Ace, throws out to Ashley, beautiful tackling by the legs, down to Dan Toshia, he tries to get out the pit, can't do so, Evans is tackled, he throws the ball wide, it's near the line, out of play, what a game of footy, Mark Nayley.
What a contest. This is SANF football at its best. The tough clinches, the bumps, the smothers, the shepherds, the blocks. It's fantastic football. And you're watching it live on ABC Sport.
Have a look at this. I tell you what, she's hard in there. The ball slippery on the ground. Goes, Evans is taken out. He handballs away. And that's a terrific replay on ABC Sport as the ball is a bounce down, only about 25 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal. They lead 5-7 to Norwood 4-6. What a game it is. Close into the Port goal. What can they do? Oh, good take there by Philippo. Little Brownie with guts goes after it. He can't get it out of there. Now kicked away from Ball Ace. He's in there battling on the bottom of the pack as Harvey. They battle now. Who's going to get it out of there? Norwood are good enough through Pitt. He's got it and clears for the Redlegs. Long kick, centre wing. Clayton runs the ball. Can't get it. Out to Chalmers. What can he do? Gets a handball to Morgan. Morgan's got it. He's tackled. The ball slips out of his grasp. He can't get it. Coming through is Brown. That's brilliant. Over to Ashley. Beautiful play. Found Ball Ace. Half forward flank, and that's the way it goes. Oh, what a game of footy. SANFL footy live and exclusive on ABC Sport. What a game we've got for you today. Have a look at that pass. And now Ball Ace, the captain, with a chance from 45 metres.
And two plays here, the Iceman, also Ball Ace. The captain lines up for goals.
What a kick! He's put it in close! It's nearly there! Not quite! It's off hands! Oh, 23-minute mark of the second quarter. Terrific Anzac Day clash. Port 5-8, leading Norwood 4-6.
As Mark Nayley slips a Valium into Gary Window's coffee. You might just come back to planet Earth, Gaz, as Pitt.
Too good a game.
Oh, it's a beauty. And what a great advertisement for SANFL football. And join us at half-time as we talk to League Supremo Lee Wicker.
What's the umpire doing here, David?
Caution. Bowman just pushed off, perhaps used the raised arm, and the umpire just gave him a caution.
Oh, what for that? Gosh, right.
Well, could get inflammatory. No point taking chances.
Inflammatory. You need to be inflamed a bit at times.
2 points through the hoop, that one. OK, thanks for that, Gaz. As Pascoe puts in a long one towards West. Two hands, but couldn't complete the mark. Offhand snap for goal. It's through. It's Cunningham. Oh, he's clever. It's a goal.
What a Rovers goal by John Cunningham. The current Jack Godey medalist from last year's grand final. Sensational best on ground performance there. Typical Rovers goal. Front and centre of the pack. West contests. There's Cunningham. Nearly an impossible angles. Brought it back beautifully. The goal umpire didn't move. And that's his first for the afternoon. He's second.
In other matches around town this afternoon, it's Sturt by 3 goals. They've got back in charge. Glenelg by 5 points, a close one at Richmond Oval, and Central 38 points at Elizabeth over South Adelaide.
I tell you what, it's a great game of football at Adelaide Oval for the Anzac Day clash. Port lead by 2 points. Out of the centre, Norwood, that Cunningham, he's an absolute rip of a player. I love him. He's just one of those real good footballers. You think one day he'd have to get back in the AFL, he's so good. There's the knock away. Centre of the ground, McIntosh in hard, gets it away. It's picked up and the umpire's picked out a free kick. And it's going to go the way. Oh, Macca's dirty. Not happy, Macca. What happened here? Mark, what happened there?
It's handball from our side. The umpire might be on the blind side, but Gary McIntosh wouldn't throw the football, Gary Window.
Of course he wouldn't. He's one of the best handballers in the league. Macca wouldn't try to con anyone.
I think he trained Andrew Jarman, didn't he, fellas?
He certainly did as the kick away. Big Chalmers, there's loose players there for Port Adelaide, and it goes the way of Big Ambrose. The big Port Adelaide ruckman, been playing up forward today, looking for leads. You're not going to get many in there. There's a crowded forward line, so he kicks long. That's the best option. Goes down there, plenty of Norwood players there. Carter there, tries to get it. Comes down to the front of the pack through Evans, but it's a good clearing kick away. Looked like Neil there to the outer side of the ground. It bounces awkwardly out there for Ball Ace. He runs near the line, the Port Adelaide skipper. Gets it away, they're doing beautifully out there. The kick goes short, there's plenty of Port players, and it's marked there by Chalmers. Chalmers now centres it, centre half forward position. All Norwood players in there, they can't mark. Hahn goes in there hard, can't get it out. Knocked away by Davey. Carter with a chance. Plenty of heavy tackling there. And at the 26-minute mark of the second quarter, a bounce down at centre half forward.
Port Adelaide bench, Orman Allen, who took that heavy knock to the face with the football and went off. McGuinness and Smith. We know that Darren Smith is injured. We're not sure, Mark, what's wrong with Phil McGuinness is injured. Darren Smith, we believe, is injured also. So the bench filling up with injuries for Port Adelaide. As Evans comes crashing out, Vines, hurried left footer, no one home for Port Adelaide. Deep in the square, it's Harvey playing, we believe, with a fractured wrist. What great courage. Off it goes to Pitt, who has dominated the defensive zone this afternoon. Wide it goes, Borlase just misses it. And Clements thumps it off the ground, pushes it forward. Cunningham, what good work, forces it into the space, but Lees drops back on it, the custodian for Port Adelaide. Gets support now. This is Polton, just inside the line, and takes it over.
Cunningham that time tried to back himself, thought he had the leg speed over Polton, but Polton was up to it. Took him, put him to the ground, the ball forced out. But at the moment, fellas, I reckon Brian Lee's, Gary Window, just a little bit too big and mobile for the big Pasco at centre-half forward.
Yes, comment from Mark Naylor. You're on ABC Sport. We're live and exclusive at the Adelaide Oval for this Anzac Day clash. Port Adelaide leading by 2 points. And with the last minute of the second quarter, bounce down, that's taken there. The umpire runs in. You can see he's going to do something because he got in there quick. It's a free kick to Norwood. It's going the way of Sujay Cook.
We just want to see this. Gary McIntosh was slow to get rid of it. Buzz up to the second effort.
What's that for?
Oh, I have no idea.
Ball goes into the forward lines for Norwood. It's not well placed, and Binky's got it. He drives the Port Adelaide Magpies out of trouble to centre wing. Battle there for the ball. Davey can't get it. Hard with him. A throw in. Centre wing, grandstand side, right in front of our ABC commentary position.
What a marvellous crowd at Adelaide Oval. We had 19,000 people here almost last year, and a good crowd this afternoon. A 2-point ball game at Adelaide Oval. The Anzac Day clash. This is the 9th time that these two sides have met on Anzac Day, and a 5-3 record so far in favour of Port Adelaide. Obst off the ground, it's out of bounds on the full. Yes, said the umpire, right on the spot. Obst a little unlucky. Port Adelaide, well, their kicking to position today has just been superb. That one, no exception. Matthew Ashley off to Ambrose, a high one and wide. First time Port Adelaide really have gone indirectly, and Malloy couldn't get through traffic. Todd Davey gets it back to Bowman, who was already out of play when he took the ball, and there's a throw-in right in front of the members' grandstand.
You're too kind to Malloy on his left leg again. He hasn't got a left leg.
Couldn't kick that left foot.
You are not happy with Malloy, Mark, are you? What's he done? He ignored you in the race, did he? Is that what's happened? You really have, you've just been on his case all day. As Borlase goes around the corner and not quite well placed. Robert Neal, well, fellas, he hasn't had a lot to do today, but he has nullified the effect of Evans.
Yes, that's a good call, David Mackay. The ball goes wide to Bowman for the Redlegs. There goes the siren to end half-time, and the Port Adelaide side lead by 2 points.
Yeah, what a great half of football we've witnessed here at Adelaide Oval. Anzac Day, the 25th of April, 1998. It started in the first quarter. Young Evans, Paul Evans, the Port Power recruit, up forward, kicked 4 goals in the first quarter. Norwood came back just to trail by a small margin there at quarter time. The second quarter, it really has gone from half-back line to half-back line. A great contest between the back-line players. Through the middle, we've got McIntosh trying to give his all at the moment, but at the moment, Gary Window, Port Power are just on top. At the moment, they lead by 2 points, but the regulars, they just won't die.
Oh, it's a great game of footy. I tell you, these Anzac Day clashes, they always get the hair standing on the back of your head, and it's certainly no exception today. No, that's a great even half of football. This is still anyone's ball game, as Port Adelaide, 5 goals, 8-38, leading Norwood, 5-6-36 by 2 points. And you're watching the SNFL live and exclusive to ABC Sport. What a game!
Well, it certainly doesn't get any better than this. 2 points at half-time at Adelaide Oval. It was 8 points at quarter-time, and what a match it's been. We hope you're enjoying it at home, and stay with us throughout the half-time break as we bring you David Hutton, the Port Adelaide Magpies General Manager. We'll have a look at Port Adelaide and the Crows and their matches tomorrow against Melbourne and Geelong. Of course, the Crows take on Geelong at Football Park. They're unbeaten against the Cats at Football Park, but I think Gary Ayres, the Geelong coach, would be hoping to change that. Stay with us also as we go now to Lee Wicker, who joins me in the commentary position. Lee is the General Manager of the SANFL. Lee, you couldn't be happier with what you're seeing today.
Well, David, I think as the two guys in the commentary box just said, it's a great Anzac clash, 2 points the difference. At half-time, it's set up for a great game, and I think it's great to have Anzac Day football back as we've known it for many years here at Adelaide Oval, and it's really, I think, what footy's all about at the SANFL level.
Lee, will we see Port Adelaide and Norwood now take the Anzac Day clash annually?
Well, I think traditionally in past years, David, we've replayed the grand final on Anzac Day, and of course today is the two sides from last year replaying that event.
You didn't the year before, though. You're a bit
no,
about that.
No, you're quite right. But I think as the local league now is finding a new level of support, this day, I reckon, will be something for the future.
It's appropriate, speaking of the future, then, that we're at Adelaide Oval. Night football, Friday night football at Adelaide Oval seems to be a big hit with the fans.
Well, the couple of games we've had so far, David, has been outstanding, and the league is looking at even scheduling a couple more night games this year. We've got a big one on the 22nd of May. That's Port and Sturt. That's been confirmed for that particular night. There was some doubt over that with the possible change with the Rams, but we're looking forward to some more night games here at Adelaide Oval.
Now, was there any fast talking to make sure that this Port Adelaide Norwood clash happened Anzac Day, given that the Rams had call on the Oval at this day as well?
Well, David, we had an agreement with the Cricket Association. That was gilt-edged, so that was a position that we stood by, and I think it's worked out in the best interest of both the sporting codes, and there's room for both here. And tonight, hopefully, the weather's kind to the Rams and they're successful. Now,
to be fair to say that this has been the most successful start to an SANFL season since the Crows and Port Power entered.
There's no doubt about that, David. I think thus far our crowds are well up on not only last year but previous seasons for this early stage of the season. We're pretty confident local footy is finding a new support base, particularly with clubs like Sturt, that have now become very competitive, gone back to Unley Oval. We've got a game there today. And I think local footy gives an alternative to the top national competition. And it's a standard of football I think people can really enjoy.
I think just the fact that fans can go on the field at quarter time, three-quarter time, have a kick after the game and bring the family relatively cheaply has some appeal too. While you're here, we might just get you to sign up for another 3 or 4 years of ABC football at the SANFL. We'll hit you for that as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary. Parso, great first half here at Adelaide Oval.
Absolutely fantastic atmosphere down on the boundary line. The weather, I think, is going to clear up for the second quarter as far as the wind is concerned anyway, dropping off at the moment. But it really is. Both teams are at the ball, very even on the scoreboard as well. Looking forward to that second half of the game, David.
Michael, we were talking earlier about the breeze and how strong it actually was. Clearly it's stronger than we perhaps thought.
At the start of the game, a very strong wind indeed, especially when the rain showers came through, and you probably saw me heading for the hills, went to the stand to get some cover so I didn't end up like I was at Unley Oval. But the breeze at the moment has dropped wide off. As we look over to the flags on top of the Bradman stand, they have in fact settled right down, so the wind may have gone for the day.
Well, as we reflect on Showdown 3 last week, we've got a big clash here at Adelaide Oval, but last week it was Football Park. It was the Crows and Port Power who slugged it out, a 9-point victory to Port Power. And Parso, in the wet, I think Port Adelaide just slugged it out a little harder.
They did. I actually thought that Adelaide controlled the game for a lot of it, but I guess it's the scoreboard when the final siren goes that is what counts, and as everybody around work keeps telling me, Port Adelaide got the win.
And as we go to highlights, Gary Window joins us. Welcome, Gary.
How are you? Back again, David.
It was a great clash last week, wasn't it?
It was, but I tell you what, the Crows blew that. I don't think they put enough store on that. Port Adelaide, with their desire and commitment, won a game they probably shouldn't have. Here's the highlights of the game. It was an absolute ripper in those terrible, slippery conditions.
Eagleton's goal, that was a beauty.
Oh, he's a good player. He's a very good player, Eagleton. They've come on, haven't they, these Port Power youngsters?
Fredray and Cummings struggled in the forward position for Port Power. Cummings got one.
Yeah, you would, though, in those conditions. It wasn't a forwards day. It was a matter of battling forward, but you certainly had to get the body over the ball. Like that type of thing, that was hard from Costa.
Well, Costa is a tough player, isn't he?
Only knows one way.
Now, Paul at centre-half forward.
Terrific game last week, and everyone, they say that's a great goal.
And Kingsley
there.
In the middle.
Kingsley was one of their best. Poole was absolutely brilliant at centre-half forward, and probably the Crows didn't have much up forward also.
The game was in the balance until perhaps 10 or 12 minutes. Cummings takes this mark. The goal here puts them 13 points up.
Yes, that was the one that really put it in. He came on, had a dirty day till that stage and come on. There's Bond getting a handball away, and that's the end of the game.
The final scoreboard coming up, Port's 11-7 to Adelaide 8-16, perhaps some inaccurate kicking by the Adelaide Crows. As we look forward tomorrow, Port Adelaide and Melbourne at the MCG. Should be a beauty. Melbourne without Jim Steins, without David Neitz, who's broken an ankle, and Seacamp, who is reported and suspended.
Yes, that's why I think I've changed my. Port Adelaide can beat them over there. I'll be over there tomorrow, so that'd be a great game to watch. I think Port can win in Melbourne. That'd be a beauty.
As we go to the Port Power lineup, we noticed that Fegan in the back pocket, Paxman and Bond, they've been pretty settled across their defensive line. Francis, Mead and Kingsley. Kingsley will be playing a half-back flank after dominating in the midfield.
I think they'll leave in the midfield. It's a wonder with Stevens. Nick Stevens, they're taking him over with them. I wonder if he'll get a game.
Well, I wonder who's not fit.
Yes, that's an interesting one. Just looking there, can't work it out there. But they reckon he might get a game if it's wet.
We might go to Michael Parsons down on the boundary pass. So Cummings at full forward needs to get back amongst the goals.
He did. It's been a bit dirty for Scotty Cummings the last couple of weeks. The weather hasn't helped, and again tomorrow you would think that the rain that's come through Adelaide the last couple of days would be in Melbourne, so Scotty has got a real challenge for himself to get a couple of goals on the board.
Well, Mike, is it a Port Adelaide or a Melbourne victory in your court?
Well, Melbourne, they have lost big Jimmy Steins, and Neitz is out with that ankle injury again, but Gary Lyon starting to get back to some of his best football. I think they'll be very competitive, but the thing that I like about Port Adelaide now is they're settled. They've got really the same team that they went in last week, and if you can get a settled team, I think that's a big way towards winning this game, and I have to go with Port Adelaide.
Gary, that's a fair point, isn't it? They are very settled.
I think that's a very good point, and that's a trait of John Cale's coaching. And if I was Port Adelaide, I know it's not worth much, but I'd be signing up for another 2 years, John Cale, right now, because I reckon they're 34 premierships behind him, and he's the key to the way they're playing at the moment.
Well, Mark Nayley is a Port Power fan. Mark, I suppose you're going with the Port. You're jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I have to go with them this week, David. I think, as Parso said, and also Gary Window and yourself, I mean, they've got a full squad to pick from. It's only really Adam Hughes who was supposed to line up here for Norwood this afternoon. What a joke that was. But, I mean, he's their only injury at the moment, or their only concern with a leg injury, but he'll be back next week. There's no doubt about that. But Port Power, back on tomorrow, they'll get up.
Gavin Wanganeen plays his 150th game of AFL football. Congratulations to the skipper. And, Mark, I suppose you're there. We'll put you right on the spot. Adelaide last week blew it. Can they get up this week against Geelong?
Well, they haven't been really playing that bad of football. I mean, last week they tried hard. Just that, that second half where they kicked 11 points, really lost them the game. But they're around the mark. They've got a big job tomorrow with Geelong. I mean, they haven't won at football parks in 7 years. But I just think tomorrow, Adelaide Crows, they need to win it. Otherwise, fellas, they might, I reckon, play the first 8 games without... We're really only winning 1 game out of those first 8, so they need to win tomorrow against Geelong.
As we go to the lineups, that's probably not a bad point you've made just there, Mark. They face North Melbourne at the MCG next week and West Coast at Football Park the week after. A very tough run for them. Rashido back in the middle. Downsborough, Gary, the man at centre half forward, really has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Certainly has. Hasn't been successful there. Downsborough and Mark Stevens got a big job up forward. The Crows are not getting much out of there, and also Wren's got to really lift and get that nastiness back in the ruck. But they've got to do something. I'm worried about the Crows, because I think they've got a harder run home they had last year, so I agree, they have to start winning.
Well, you tip Geelong or the Crows?
Home you'd have to kick the Crows, because Geelong have never won here. I know that can be broken, as we've seen in recent weeks, but the Crows have to win home, will win a home game.
Mike Parsons, who seems to know a little bit about AFL footy. Michael, your tip?
Again, I think Geelong, when you think of Geelong, who do you think of? You think of Ablett and Brownless kicking goals, you think of Barnes dominating the ruck, Hocking getting what Barnes gives him. None of them are there. I'm going to have to go with the Adelaide Crows.
Thanks very much for that, Michael. Well, Gary, the big news in football this week was the vice-captain of the Western Bulldogs, Chris Grant, suspended and reported, then suspended for 2 games, then appealed. The appeal was broken down. What's your thoughts on the appeal process?
Yes, I think the appeals process is really good. They paid, it was interesting, they gave them $10,000 back because it didn't seem to be any new evidence and it was thrown out anyhow. But it was a good decision, only in the fact of that. I like to see how that tribunal was working. But, he shouldn't have gone in the first place, and I wish it was all over and didn't get reported.
Well, let's have a look at the incident.
Kick, Grant, or didn't give him a chance at all. Grant let one go, accidental, and he may have his number taken. He has.
Plays, Dave, these cameras, they're long cameras, they can distort the view. So you've got to go on what we initially saw there on our cameras of what happened. It looked just like a body clash. Play on.
Well, you've taken my thunder. We'll come to that in a moment. Let's see what David Smorgan, the president of the Western Bulldogs, thinks.
We think that the system of the appeal tribunal that has been put in place has obviously worked, and we think that's for the benefit of the game, the benefit for the clubs and benefit for players.
They gave me that much respect to allow us to bring other people in tonight, and I think it's sort of, obviously it hasn't worked in our favour, but at least we've been given another avenue to go through.
Interesting comments. Mark Nayley is a man who loves the appeal system, loves to appeal. Mark, it cost you $15,000 to go along and have a second chat to the AFL tribunal.
will end up costing him $5,000 at the end of the day. But David, I mean, Chris Grant, I'm sure they got a vendetta against him. Last year, I mean, that was actually a joke last year with the report that he served for 1 week. Missed out on winning the Brownlow medal, but that one there, I would have to say, was reportable.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Gary, the other one, the big
change since he stopped playing.
What do you think?
Not reportable. No, see, that's the thing with those. There's too many. And look at the good players that aren't going to be able to win a Brownlow medal. It's just not good enough. Those soft things that shouldn't be happening, play on, let it all go unless it's a king hit.
Gary, the other issue of the week was the live telecast of the Adelaide Crows Port Power game. The league were a little reticent to give it. They did. Then there was 6,000 people short, and they think that there won't be now another direct telecast of a Crows Power game.
Yeah, it's a pity. I think they should be a direct telecast. There it is, TV Football Fury out of the advertiser. It was too, because the people in hospitals, the people who can't get into this big clash want to see it. But it's certainly the 7% the attendance is down the AFL this year, causing some concern.
Oh,
fair enough. Mark Naley's not happy with that. I can hear you in the background.
What's he saying now?
7,000 people down. I mean, it bucketed down all afternoon. I mean, I was out there for a little while. I saw the first quarter and I just couldn't believe it. I had to get up in the media box afterwards, but it was terrible. How would they expect a full house on a day like that? They are kidding themselves.
All right, Mark, we'll throw it straight back to you. Gary Ayres went and spoke to the new umpiring soprano, Peter Schwab, during the week. He said that Gary Hocking is a marked man. He wants the umpires to ease up on his star player.
It was. I mean, there was nothing in that. I mean, Gary Hocking, he went to ground, he came up, I mean, there was a free kick given against him, but at the moment, I mean, they're trying to cut out these tough, aggressive players. They've just got to let the game go at the moment. I mean, we saw, like Chris Grant's last week. Now, I said they was reportable. All I'm saying there before, Gary Winter, was if they're going to be consistent, which they're trying to be, I mean, he had to go. But, I mean, last week with Gary Hocking, that was laughable also. I mean, at the moment, the umpiring system over there, all that tribunal system over there, the way they're reporting at the moment is laughable.
I think they've got to... The umpires are better this year. Let's say that straight away. I like Peter Schwab, what he's trying to do there.
Yep.
This trial by video is still hopeless with all this frilly stuff that we don't like. I think the comment Mark made there, we've got to protect the ball players, you certainly do, but the body clashes have got to be let go, like we're seeing today in this big game with Port and Norwood.
No doubt about that. It's time to go back down to the boundary line. Michael Parsons with Port Magpies General Manager David Hutton.
Yes, David. Anzac Day at Adelaide Oval, Norwood and Port. It's a great tradition, and a good crowd has turned up on not the best day for football, or coming to watch football at least.
It was a pity with the weather last night and this morning, but a good crowd's turned out and being treated to a good game as well.
It is very close on the scoreboard at the moment, but where do you see Port Adelaide being able to get the edge and run away with the game?
Hopefully in the centre square, some of the Norwood guys have been getting quite a few touches, but if we tighten up on them, and we've got Paul Evans on top down forward, and hopefully he can kick a few more goals in the second half.
He did. He's really put his hand up to claim that spot once he's been given the opportunity. But away from the, well, still on the football, but the club in general, no doubt you're taking all the credit for Port's fantastic start to the season. Undefeated in all grades up until today.
Yeah, till today. Our reserves lost today. I haven't heard our juniors, but no, I don't take that credit. I give that to the coaches and all the players, and it's been a good start, but today's a real test for all of us in every grade.
But the club itself, as they've adjusted to the power coming into the AFL, you'd be really pleased with the way that the club has just gone, and the momentum's there again for just to be a power through the 90s.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a tough year with a lot of changes last year, and we were happy not with the final result on grand final day, but with the general success of the club in all grades, and it's gone on this year, and we're really hoping for continued success, and things are set up pretty well.
And the dedication of your legion of supporters is legendary. Apparently you've got a few things coming up for them over the next couple of months.
Yeah, well, particularly we had a family day scheduled for next weekend, but that's been postponed till Sunday, May the 31st. So that's when all the supporters can come down to our new training facility at Ethelton on Swan Terrace and join in a fun run, a family day, and even play a game in and with the players. So that should be a bit of fun.
I might go down there and have a bit of a go at it myself. So, David, something to look forward to for the Port Adelaide supporters.
I look forward to seeing you down there, Big Mike. It would be fantastic to see a rooster in Magpie territory.
It would have what? I tell you what, they'd carve him up and pluck his feathers.
I think they'd have him on the rotisserie in no time. And it was a great first half of football at Adelaide Oval. If you've just joined us, it was 8 points at quarter time. It was 2 points in favour of the Port Magpies at half time as we go to some highlights of the second quarter. Look for a couple of David Brown passes, Gary. They were spectacular.
Sensational. He used the ball beautifully. That was obvious. That's good play too. Out to David Brown. Now have a look. Has a look with the eyes. Didn't blast. Finds Evans on the end of that. It was a great start to the day, and young Evans finished off well. It is again. Brown's terrific, isn't he, with his use of the ball. Big Ambrose on the end of that one.
Ambrose was terrific last week and solid already. Sujai Cook, great running goal from 55.
Certainly, that was the goal of the day, virtually.
But what about the release by Gary McIntosh? Just a little flick on just to release him, set him on his way.
Great team man, McIntosh, isn't he? What a block off the boot that was. Absolutely sensational there from Obst. That's what wins football games. I tell you what, this game is in the balance.
Pascoe puts in a long bomb, and West took front position, but look at the great roving Cunningham from deep in the pocket, threads it beautifully.
One of the best players in the SNFL, this bloke, an absolute ripper. He just knows where the goals are, knows where all his teammates are. That's a terrific goal.
That was when, if you've just joined us, he was not happy. The umpire pinged him for throwing the ball, and Gary was not happy about that incident at all. He said, I got away a handball, and the umpire pinged him.
How's the tackle afterwards too? Did Gary whack that in? Oh, I tell you what, he's a ripper.
Well, Gary McIntosh, Gary, has a tendency to really chat the umpires. I wonder whether, like Gary Hockney, pays a little bit of a penalty for that.
I think so. He's known as a hard man, he is, but he's absolutely sensational tackler also.
As we go to the half-time scoreboard here at Adelaide Oval, we see that Port Adelaide enjoy a 2-point lead, 5-8 to 5-6, and it's going to be a tough second half.
Yeah, you reckon it's going to win? I tell you what, it's going to be nice and interesting this second half on ABC Sport. I can't wait for it. 2 points up. You'd say Port have played better, but there's the goal kickers. Cook with a couple of beauties, Cunningham 2 rippers, West only 1 at this stage, but the big story is Evans, the full forward for Port Adelaide 4, Hahn 1.
As we welcome Mark Naley back to go through the stats, interesting lineup. Statistically, there's not much difference in it, Mark.
No, there's not, Jay. We're just looking at the stats we've been keeping here. I mean, we've got 82 kicks for Norwood this afternoon, where Port have had 105. A handball, we've got 42 for Norwood, where Port have had 62. The frees have had 4 for Norwood, which surprises me, and 14 for points, so a big margin there. But inside 50, 22 and 27, so it's pretty even there as well. Hit-outs, Norwood, the big fella on Keegan in the first quarter, 28 as compared to Port 9. But a great first half of footage. Just a few of the goal kickers there also. Paul Evans still with 4 after the first quarter. Scotty Hands got 1 for the Magpies as well, where Norwood have got 2 to Cunningham, 1 to West and 2 to Sujay Cook.
Thanks for that. That's a comprehensive round of stats.
That's
the goal kickers again as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
And I was able to catch up with Darren Smith and Phil McGuinness just as they were walking off at half-time. Phil McGuinness said, I'm ready, but I'm not really sure. Darren Smith says he's got a corky at the top of his quadricep, so we might see both of those again in the second half.
Well, McGuinness looked a little proppy to me coming off, Gary. I thought he was injured, but obviously not.
No, they've dragged him off, and I tell you what, Stephen Williams knows what he's doing. Darren Smith is the one. He looked as though he pulled, they say, that muscle there. I doubt if he'd come back on, but he's a pretty good fitness freak, so he might, you never know.
Sam Filippo, perhaps an ideal replacement across half forward for Smith as he's injured.
Yes, he'd want to do more in this game, though, wouldn't he? He's got to get into the game there. This is going to be vital. This second half is going to be so tight now. Most sides like to get a good break in that first half on windy conditions. It's not there, so it's going to be a battle in the second half.
I notice, Mark, that Trent Orman-Allen is out there warming up. We saw him hit with a full-bodied kick to the face, knocked him out almost, spent some time on the interchange bench, but now back and warming up.
Yeah, he's good to see him back on the field. But I just heard, as I was coming back from the boundary line at half-time there, one of the Norwood supporters pulled me aside and mentioned to me that possibly there has been a report up to half-time. There was a bit of a confrontation between Brian Lees there in the first quarter and also Big Pascoe. I'm led to believe one of those players has been reported.
That'd be interesting. Well, Leesy,
we
did see Leesy. We'd all go to Leesy.
I won't say that.
He's had his fingers in the cookie jar too many times, hasn't he?
Well, he's a rough diamond, and young Pascoe seems to be not a wild type. But you never know in footy. You can get stirred, as you both know, and you can do something you might regret later on.
Now, Gary, we spoke to Lee Wicker at half-time about this traditional clash. They've met. This is their 9th time on Anzac Day. They met last year, but it wasn't the grand finalist last year. There was a record crowd of 18,961 people. Today, a very good crowd. I'd expect a little over 10, which is not bad considering the rain. Should the league make this a regular fixture?
Should always be a regular fixture. I'm all for tradition. This is a traditional game for me, as I mentioned before the game. 34 premierships for Port Adelaide, 27 for Norwood. They're the crowd pullers in this SNFL competition. It's just so exciting. On Anzac Day, when we remember our Anzacs, I reckon it's the ideal clash.
Mark, certainly the crowd, a very big crowd enjoying what is probably the toughest physical clash we've seen this year.
Last year, David, we saw around about 19,000 people here. I mean, this afternoon, you would have to say it had to be in the vicinity of between about 11 and 12,000, but it was a great tradition. I mean, there was speculation this week whether Norwood and Port should keep this game every Anzac Day. I mean, I tend to agree with it. But at the moment, these two sides, they are been the best two sides in the competition for decades, and I reckon, you know, that sort of responsibility should be given back to these two teams just to play here because you'll see it. I mean, you'll see every time these two sides play, you'll get at least between 10,000 and 25,000 people to the game. If it was a fine day, there would be 20,000 people here. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I'll pose one for you, Gary Window. Sturt are really accelerating up the ladder. What about Port and Sturt Anzac Day? That would be a big crowd puller as well.
It certainly would. They've really been a revelation, they have. And there's the big Clipsal screen there. That's been terrific today, having a glance at that every now and again, and all the spectators here. That's certainly a great innovation.
Rob Gerard should be thanked for this, Gary. It was here, of course, for the Rams match against the Parramatta side tonight, and Rob Gerard has offered it to the SANFL free of charge, which is very benevolent and would give us an insight into what's coming at Football Park as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Thank you very much, David. Darren Smith has told me he's got a corky, but as you may have seen on the vision, he actually just walked back onto the ground, didn't try to run at all, so I don't think we will be seeing Darren Smith again at all. And I am not going to get a job at the Weather Bureau. I said we might have seen the last of the wind, but it's sprung up again, going across the ground a little bit more than it was before, but that wind is definitely here again.
Fair enough. You can see the breeze there as we're ready for the bounce, the start of the third quarter. Your umpires Ron Bettridge, Darragh Ryan and Derek Woodcock. And to take up the commentary, it's Mark Nayley with special comments joining Gary Window, your commentator.
Have a look at that scoreboard. 5-8 Port Adelaide leading Norwood 5-6 by 2 points. Very dark look. Here's the ruckman now. Have a look at him, Big Ambrose. How'd you like to run up against him? He looks ready to go, and Keating's done very well here. Sissy, well, have a look at that with the big helmet on there, and he's done very well in the ruck. You're on ABC Sport, live and exclusive. SANFL footy at its best. It's Anzac Day, and we're ready for the second half of footy. Who'll win this big game? Dark condition, it goes into the centre, knocked away, goes to the centre half forward. They can't do it. Clayton for Port Adelaide is the first one over it, and there'll be a bounce down at centre half forward between there and the centre for the Norwood side. They're going against the breeze in this vital third quarter. 2-point ball game. I tell you what, boys, this could go anyway.
Put you on the spot, Gary. Who's your tip?
I still stick for Port Adelaide, but I tell you what, the man getting that ruck there, Mark Nayley, Keating's going to have a big say in this game if he keeps tapping the way he is.
Well, he needs to find his smaller running players at the moment. We're just seeing McIntosh not being that influential this afternoon. He really is finding it hard with the pace and the tenacity of what the Port Adelaide Magpies are really showing at the moment. But don't underestimate McIntosh when their backs to the wall. That's when he performs the best. And just be surprised, three-quarter time, they're down by a couple of goals. McIntosh will pull something out in that last quarter.
Ambrose has got it. A free kick out of the centre, kicks it down to Filippo, couldn't take it. Port Adelaide going with the breeze. Ashley's played well out there, gets the handball away. They battle through there. It's Brown, gets it away to Hahn. He drives it long towards that northern goal. It's not good. It's Loughlin. It's out of bounds on the full. Updates from around the grounds. There's plenty of them going today. Sturt by 20 points. Sturt doing wonderfully. West by 7 points. That's a good lead now for West. Central's by 43 points at Elizabeth.
Oh, he's happy with that, isn't he? Gary Window, he said that one with a bit of enthusiasm.
Yes,
over the old Panthers, they'll be back. They'll come back.
Now, there's no doubt about it. There's a young fan enjoying the football at Adelaide Oval. Hope you are at home as Filippo flicks it out to Vines. A short one, a high bomb to the point of the goal square. Chalmers one-handed attempt. Oh, yes. Oh, he's kicked it. Mark Nayley called it. It's through. Chalmers gets his first. Port Adelaide 6-8. Norwood 5-6 on ABC Sport.
Well, I said up to half-time, he plays his best football in the ruck. He's been moved into the forward line, possibly at full forward. Centre half forward, that is. He just used his strength in Malloy. Malloy's having a dog of a day or what?
Excuse the pun. You just worry about a player, Gary, don't you? There's just a day when nothing goes right. Malloy has had one of those days, but what other options has Norwood got?
Yes, I think the only option... Where's Pitt down there? I prefer him over there, I think. There's out of the centre of the ground now. Some work need to be done by Norwood. They're going against the breeze as Davey. Back on the side today. Goes with a beautiful, he plays kick. Harvey can't take that. He just had to stretch too far. They're away. Vines has got it. His wrist there, yes, probably holding it back as the kick goes wide by the centreman there in Morgan, out of play, centre wing.
Now, Mark, you played with injuries. Harvey's playing, we think, with a fractured wrist. He couldn't take that ball cleanly.
It's hard to say. I watched him a couple of times go for a tackle, but at the moment, I mean, with this, how tight this game is and where it is, I mean, it's 2-point margin. It's just gone out now to an 8-point margin. You just can't let marks like that go through. If he's not fit, get him off. If he's out there, if he's pulling his weight, fair enough. But at the moment, you just can't let opportunities like that go.
Out of sight of the ground. Umpire's picked out a free kick. Is it going to go to Macker? He'll like that one. The beard bristles. Have a look at him. Anzac Day on ABC. We're at the Adelaide Oval with a big clash. Port Adelaide and Norwood. Port Adelaide leading by that 8-point margin. There's a kick away by Ops. Goes straight in the air. They battle for it out there. Morgan, he can't get it. Over there with the ball is the player we just mentioned, Harvey for Norwood. He runs out of play. See the heavily strapped wrist.
7 kicks and 3 handballs to Harvey, so he's certainly pulling his weight, but perhaps not the prolific possession winner we've come to know. There he is, handballing it away, so it's 7 and 4 now. Doreen just fumbled a short one. Macca, hard ball. Obst in pursuit of him and crashing, and it was at Morgan. 26 for Port Adelaide. Hasn't he been a revelation as a recruit, Mark? He's tough and mean.
Yeah, he really has. He's slotted into that middle. He's especially taken over the role that Tim Ginniver used to play for the club for so many seasons, and in so many grand finals. But Mad Dog Morgan's come along. He's got just find the pace of the game. He's been good the 2 games we've seen it, but I reckon he could be better.
Yes, and in much the same way Bomber Clifford used to play the middle for Port Adelaide. Vines through traffic did very well. Always trying to feed it out to Brown. Brown concedes a little bit of ground. It's Obst on the left boot, and look at this. Out he comes. Good mark taken. It's Evans, who's already kicked Blackfellas 4.
Good Evans, he's there again, the big fella.
Good
big
Evans.
strong. What's wrong?
Oh, what a ripper.
The Iceman, you've got Steinlager, Jared Twitt is Einstein, and now Good Evans. Well,
he is Good Evans, isn't he?
Well, he's really good today.
4 goals up to now, fellas. This could be his 5th for the afternoon. At a quiet second quarter where he was well held since Malloy got moved off him.
4 goals, 1 to big Paul Evans. He'd only kicked before today 18 goals in 15 matches. That one's across to the right. He's got 4-2, so he started like a bomb, and the last 2 kicks have been points.
Yes, need to convert that. You can see on the scoreboard 6-9 Port leading Norwood 5-6. We're into the 3rd quarter by 5 minutes. Kick out will go from Malloy with the right foot to the outer side of the ground. Knocked away there in front. No, Keating. Like his game today. That's a good grab by the big helmeted one. Outer side of the ground for the Redlegs. Drives there, not much leading out there. Comes off hands. Kick away into the half-forward line. Sujay Cook with a chance there. Can't get it. Clayton comes barging through. In there, McIntosh. Clayton does well. He'll get his boot to ball. Does so. Goes along centre wing. Bounces awkwardly there, but Keating's got it. Oh, little Harms got him. The tackle's on. They've got a chance now as they battle through to Brown. Brown for the Magpies. Kicks the centre half forward. But it's dropped there. That's a chance now. Port Adelaide will get in there now, will they? They battle for the ball. Over it now is Neil to hold it up.
I love to see a replay of that, Gary. When the player actually took the ball in possession, held it, and then knocked out of his hands.
Well, we'll get a chance to see it.
We can see it here. I don't think we have.
It's just a bit after the thing, wasn't it? Handball away. It's taken by Davey for the Redlegs. Long he goes into the centre of the ground. This is an important part of this game. Norwood have to do something. Important needs goals going with a breeze. There they battle out of it. Good play there by Crouch. They get away now through Davey. Long kick to centre half forward. There's holding, there's shoving there. Play allowed to go on. Carter doesn't pick it up. Kicks it back towards Vines. He couldn't get it. Obst handball wide. They battle out there. Coming through wide there is Cunningham, one of Norwood's best. He drives up to West. Oh, he nearly marked it. Did he? No, it's off hands. Orman Allen, what courage. He's back on the ground and clears to this grandstand side.
Touch of class about Orman Allen. Out goes to Waite, who has to go long, and underneath this one sitting there is Obst. Well, he's starting to cover plenty of ground. He forced the man to run on in Matthew Ashley, obliged him, and now from half forward chips it up towards full forward, but dropping in underneath this one is Robert Neal, who's done a fair job since going to full back. Pitt got it from Harvey. Now wider still, it's Lachlan Bowman, who's played a bottler at centre half back. He's been very solid. Malloy, who struggled, particularly in the first quarter, but he is a fighter and he has some ability. It's a good kick. Keating misses it comprehensively. Matthew Ashley just hurries one onto the boot, blindly drives it forward. Lachlan Bowman locks it off in the back pocket, switches the direction of play. This could be dangerous. Chalmers is out there. Harvey streaks away after it, picks it up on the run, puts it under the arm and takes off, delivers it long, and look at this, Sujay Cook running in front of Vines. That's a good contest, the 2 young Rovers. Towards half forward goes the kick, it's wide, and just inside the line, West feeds it back to Cunningham. Good build-up for Norwood as they go to the point of the square. Underneath this one, O'Brien. Good work, Binky. Off hands, a point.
Yeah, Binky's done well on O'Brien this afternoon. We saw Binky last week, best player, BOG. He took the award last weekend. Today he's done a terrific job with Pascoe.
He shut Chad Corns completely out of the game last week, didn't he?
He certainly did. He's a good player. That was a terrific spoil from there. Clayton to bring the ball back into play. From that full-back position, looking for somewhere to kick to. He's got wide and weight. Goes that way at half-back. He goes on quickly now, runs through that half-back position, drives long to the centre of the ground. Not much there to aim for. Pascoe couldn't mark it, goes to the back of the pack. For a big man, that was good play. He's got it, goes onto the left foot. That's not a good kick. In fact, it's a shocker, and Brown has read that better than anyone for the Magpies and grabbed it. Looking for Leeds. Usually uses the ball well. He kicks long. 6-9 Port, leading Norwood 5-7. We're at the 8-minute mark of this third quarter. The vital third quarter's Ox gets it away to Binky. Over to Borlays. Lay down your glasses. That's a goal. That's through the centre. That's his first. Wonderful goal to the skipper. And that's just what the Magpies needed at this 9-minute mark of the third quarter.
Everything's coming up Daisy Borlays. As he see him just in the right place. Good work by Ops. Across to Borlays. Borlays. This is a training drill for Borlays. He'll have done that a few times at Adelaide Oval. Here at Adelaide Oval this afternoon, he brings up his first. The Magpies just extend their lead.
311 career goals to Daryl Borlays. What a leader he has been this year with the captaincy to officially cement his leadership role in the club, but he's been a great leader for many years. Keating thumps it down. McIntosh pushes it wide. Well, it was more in hope than anything else, but it's come off as Harvey gets through traffic. Off it goes now to Scotty Doreen, who bombs one towards full forward.
Free downfield.
And it's a free. It's an FAD against Dobbs, who can't believe it. It's a Norwood free kick right in the goal square. And Jim West, or will it be Christian O'Brien, to take the kick?
We'll just watch this here as he goes. We just missed it, just out of the screen. Corner of the screen, but the umpire was in the right position. Must just pushed him in the back afterwards. We see Christian O'Brien will line up for his first shot at goal this afternoon.
So Pascoe coming off for the Redlegs. Harley preparing to come on as O'Brien, goalless in this match so far, bangs it in from point-blank range. He gets his first. And the Redlegs just get the important answer that they needed.
They certainly needed that mark. That's a vital goal for Norwood up against the breeze. That's an absolute vital goal, and to get it that way, they got a 50-metre penalty virtually with that fouling after disposal, which was really good for them.
Some great work shown in the middle, coming through with Anthony Harvey. As we see the big fella there in Pascoe. But a bit of a quiet afternoon as Pascoe just spending some time on the bench. But a good move by Coach Peter Road. Understands that he's not getting enough work through centre half forward. Has put big Tom Harley. Actually, he's moved Malloy down to centre half forward and put Harley to centre half back.
Let's take the updates from around the grounds. Plenty of football in Adelaide. Sturt by 33 points. They're going away from the Eagles. West and Glenelg, that's close. West by 1 point. And out at Centrals, they lead by 49 points. We're at the Adelaide Oval. This is Anzac Day. What a game. You're on ABC Sport. The ball's on the outer side of the ground. It's been close all day. Let's go to Michael Parsons down the boundary line.
And I think you saw the interchange with Tom Harley coming on to go down, straight down to full-back, and they've shifted Malloy up to centre half forward, and Pascoe, who's had a bit of a dirty day, has hit the bench.
Thanks to Michael Parsons down on the boundary line, who appears to be having a rub down, ready to come on himself. It's days like this, big fella, you want to be out there. Yep. Just stretching the hamstrings down on the boundary, Michael. What a character he is. He looks like he's ready to run on, Mark.
He's a long drink of water. They probably could use it too.
It's Port Adelaide by 8 points. We've played just on 12 minutes of the third quarter, the premiership term. Ormond Allen thumps it forward. Vines with great courage feeds it off to Obbs, who blasts one towards Philippo at half forward. Bowman has blanketed him for most of the afternoon, Mark. It really has been points to the Red League.
Have a look at the crowd there.
Well, for the first time, SANFL fans can see themselves on a monitor, and they're waving, so what a historic day.
It is. That's absolutely terrific, and people very happy here at the Adelaide Oval on Anzac Day.
And another first for the SANFL, Gary.
Certainly is.
They've been good at it this year.
Yeah, it's been a great year for them. I can't believe, and hearing you talk to Lee Wicker there, how good it's been.
Friday night football, Adelaide Oval, now a screen.
That screen, I tell you what, I never thought I'd like them so much. That's an absolute ripper at the Adelaide Oval. The big Clipsal screen down there at the northern end.
Mark Nailey's giving me a bit of curry in the box, but I did go to lunch with the league, and I've got to repay that somehow. Mark, I'm sorry you couldn't get an invitation.
Oh, no, I wouldn't expect one.
No, that's true. as Carter underneath this one. Cop one from Cunningham. Too high, said the umpire. Clayton from half-back delivers it towards half-forward, but Pitt, who has been a rock of Gibraltar back there for the Redlegs, probably their best defender, and is taking a starring role. Harley just missed it. Julian Waite came in, thumps the ball forward into space. Evans working hard. I like the way this full forward works down the field and holds the ball in the area beautifully.
Yeah, good work there by Waite, Gary Window. He just had the eyes for the football. Harley must just overran it or just mistimed it. Couldn't quite get there, but a chance again for Norwood to clear it.
You're on ABC Sport with 13 minutes into the third quarter. I tell you what, this is a vital part of the game now. They need to get a wriggle on both sides as Port Adelaide 7-9 lead Norwood 6-7. I tell you what, it'll go down the wire if it stays like this. It's cold, it's blowy at Adelaide Oval, but on this Anzac Day clash, it's an absolute ripper. Throw in.
Oh, there's a lady who shouldn't be at the footy, Gary.
left forward pocket as Big Keating up there. Gets it down, goes back over for a big man. He barges out there, can't get it. Obbs with a little kick forward looking for Brown in the forward pocket. What can Brownie do? He's tackled well by Pitt there. And Pitt, little Brownie, have a bit of a go.
Now, just come back here. Big Keating, 6'8" of him. Up against number 12 for the Magpies and Matthew Ashley, who's around about, what is he, 176 centimetres, that is.
Kilometres.
He's about 5'9" and a half, a foot shorter.
He gets a kick out of that back pocket. Norwood have to get down there. Dan Toshier over the ball, can't do so. Clements also in there. They battle at ground level. Plenty of players in there. Getting it out as Morton. He can't do much with it. And the free kick to go the way. That's not right. Danny Morgan. I think that was a bit easy, but he's got it. The Port Adelaide player goes long, centre half forward, knocked away from defence. It's good play by Neal. It comes out to Polton. He makes a yard, goes into the 50-metre line, puts it in towards goal. Brown's down there, but it's out of bounds on the full to be kicked in by Norwood's Pitt.
It's going to be a great last quarter at the moment. The Redlegs are hanging on. They're kicking into a slight breeze at the moment. 8-point margin. We've played nearly 15.5-minute mark of this third quarter.
Evans did well to dispatch the kick, but Robert Neal was right on his hammer and forced the ball wide in front of Boulais, who couldn't keep it inside the line. We're 15.5 minutes of the third quarter. Good crowd. There's a couple of women who should be at the footy. I think that last lady with the footy budget over her face was probably telling Mum and Dad that she couldn't come over today. She had the flu. And at Adelaide Oval, Brown flicks it forward. Harley tried to steal it away. Mad Dog Morgan was up to it. Scotty Doring toe pokes it further afield, and Cunningham on the left boot goes around the corner, but under pressure, it's out of bounds on the full. Well, Mark Nayley said in the first quarter that they couldn't go the distance with this pace, but 15 minutes into the third quarter, Mark, they're still going hammer and tongs.
It's a little bit slower at the moment, but they still really are trying. This will be a very important clash, this one here. If Norwood can turn it over, they've got a paddock in front to run to.
Malloy over the top of it. McIntosh tried to go off the ground. Malloy claimed he's held, and the umpire agrees with him. So Boulais gives away the free kick. Things are turning around for Malloy in the middle for the Redlegs. He'll take the free kick. Well, he's taken his time, Mark. Nayley's urging him to play on quickly. A high bomb underneath this one. West, two-handed attempt, spoiled by Orman Allen. Was good work. Cunningham cleverly through, couldn't get past Lees, however. The big centre-half back blasts a high one through the midfield, and Davey marks, flicks it out to Pitt, who is growing in stature. Accelerating down from defence. Vines, good courage. Obbs tried to flick it forward. And now it's Orman Allen. A good leg. Boulais on the outer wing. Well, the Magpies are using the ball beautifully. They're hitting the target. The Redlegs are spraying it somewhat. And having said that, Lachlan Bowman just picks off an easy one.
But David, I tell you, Norwood are doing well. The Port Adelaide going with this very strong breeze to the northern end and not making enough of it at the moment. They've got to get goals because Norwood come home with the breeze. As Hahn has got it over to Ambrose. What a pass down to Evans. Well spoilt there by Neal. It goes wide. They dive hard at the ball there. Can't get it up. Boulais playing well. Has got it. The skipper. High kick. Goes into the forward lines. It's off hands to the back of the pack. They battle out there for it. Evans the first one to get it. The big full forward. Kicks it towards goal. He centres it. Coming to Carter. He can't mark. That allows Bowman over the ball for Norwood. Can he get it clear? Norwood doing well. Over to Davey, and they're out of trouble to grandstand side. Clements. Good mark. Not paid. He had that ball. Waits there with him. You hear the Norwood crowd booing as Hahn's got it. He goes in. Kicks with the left foot, he centres it, but it's all Norwood in there. It's off hands, the back of the pack, and Norwood through Sujay Cook, clear to the outer side.
Oh, it's happened again. Another Norwood player takes the ball in the air. You can see the ball going out over the boundary line. They'll be a little bit upset, the Norwood supporters. A couple of times this quarter we've seen it happen to them.
18 minutes into the third quarter. 43 plays, 51. It's an 8-point ball game in favour of Port Adelaide. Sujay Cook claimed by Brown. Morgan goes diving after it. Holds the ball in the area beautifully. There'll be another bounce.
Tell you what's getting vital for Port Adelaide. This will go right down the wire if they don't score soon.
Tell you the thing that is unusual, Gary, the noise of the crowd.
Oh, this terrific crowd. Norwood and Port, you can't get any better than that.
Well, it's just simmering out there, and you can just hear the support. It's very vocal. I think the fact that they're so close to the players really helps.
Certainly does, and it's been a terrific crowd again at this Anzac Day clash. An absolute ripper. The ball's on the outer side of the ground. Not much scoring at the moment, I tell you. Norwood are doing what they want at the moment. They're bottling it up. Port Adelaide need goals going with the breeze in this third quarter of the northern end. Norwood to come home with it. Outer side of the ground. A lot of hard bodies in there. They can't get it out. Bounce down.
In other matches around town this afternoon, Sturt by 39 points over the Eagles. They're stepping away at Adelaide Oval. West Adelaide 7 points at home against Glenelg. And Central, Gary Window, 44 points in front of South Adelaide. You'd like that.
Centrals need to do that out there. They've had a bit of a slow start to the season. Good result so far for them, but out of Elizabeth, I suppose you'd expect it. We're at the Adelaide Oval for this Anzac Day clash. Terrific day. Old mates getting together. You've seen it all. Today they're all here at the Adelaide Oval for the big clash, Port Adelaide and Norwood on ABC Sport. The kick goes wide, outer side. Who's going to break here first? Polton's got a chance. He just runs the ball out of play. Macca says, come on up. Look at that pleading little face. Come on, mate. He just run out of play. Outer side, centre wing. Throw in Big Ambrose in there. He gets up with the big arms first. Handball's over his head. Knocked away by Ashley, who had a good first half of footy. The ball's out of play. Centre wing.
We see Phil McGuinness just warming up. Player coming up, we'll just pick him up. We might get Mike Parsons to help us. No, he can't. He's thrown his arms in the air.
Filippo.
It was Filippo coming off for a well-earned rest.
Obster's got the ball. He runs through the centre of the ground. Who's he got down there? Evans out in front. He can't get it. Carter's down there in the forward lines. He falls over the ball. Evans goes back over it. Gets a handball back to McGuinness, but it's a throw, and it goes the way of Norwood. In the back pocket, it's Dan Toshia. He brings it wide, and it's got Bowman. There's loose players here. That's the way it goes. Looks like Cunningham over the ball, centre wing, and they go into attack.
Cunningham has time for a couple of bounces. Delivers it towards half forward. Oh, Waite just missed it comprehensively. Orman Allen has mopped up beautifully. He's almost like a cleaning express, isn't he? He just cleans it all up back there. Now it's Lees, who has dominated centre-half back for Port Adelaide today and made the position his own. Good contest clemency. Was just too high on Ambrose, however. And the free kick will go to the Port Adelaide ruckman.
The ball's hit him in the face.
Accidental spoil. Bit of body there, but all accidental.
I take that back. There was a free kick.
Ambrose. Pitt, front position. Carter did well to unsettle the pack. Lachlan Bowman had the kick smothered. Now it's Hahn. Oh, look at this. Bourla's 30 metres clear without an opponent in sight. Marks 35 metres out directly in front. He already has one.
Well done by the Irishman. Had 3 plays. He had, looked like it was young Vines up there, also with Ashley. The captain picked it out.
Well, he's kicked one this quarter. Leans back on this one, steers it through. It's right through the middle. That's his second to Bourla's. Port Adelaide 8-9. Norwood 6-7 on ABC Sport.
Just beautifully set up there. We can just see here, Carter from behind, flicks it to the ground. Norwood player quick to get on his boot, but not quick enough. The Iceman chops, bops. 3 players there. Ashley going back, as you can see. He's got Bourla's, the captain, who goes back and splits the centre of the goals. Just gives a little bit of breathing space for the Magpies.
That's 2 goals in this quarter for the Port Adelaide captain, Darryl Bourla's. They needed that. They lead 8-9 to Norwood 6-7 with 22 minutes into the third quarter on ABC Sport. Out of the centre they battle. Cunningham tries hard. It comes back to Waite. He goes onto the right foot. Long, high kick, centre of the ground. Ambrose! What a screamer! Absolute ripper. Mark Daly, could you take one like that?
Oh, Ambrose, an absolute beauty.
Gets it away. Chalmers now. He's got it. Port Adelaide trying to get a couple of goals up, but that's beautiful play. Wide. gets it over to Cook. Cook's got a player loose at centre-half forward, goes that way and finds Harvey. Good running movement there by the Redlegs. They won't lay down, I tell you. They want this win today. Kicks long, going in there for O'Brien's been quiet today, over the back of the pack. Kicked away there by Polton. It comes wide. Lees has got it. He's got it. He lumbers after. He's looking for someone to kick to. There's plenty of players down there, but in the way, Clement chips in for a good mark on centre wing.
They've got to get it in quickly. Just taking too much time. They're trying to set it up, but the Port players, allowing the Port midfield players to get back, and they're just clearing it too easy. Look at this. Just taking too much time, David Mackay.
No doubt about that, but Port Adelaide defenders are manning up beautifully. It's one-on-one football for Port Adelaide, and at this stage of the quarter, I think that's the thing they do better than probably any other side in the competition. They just make sure that sides don't kick a lot of goals in the time-on period. Having said that, Norwood got a couple in the first quarter in time-on. Not this time. Out of bounds of the full against O'Brien. It's a Port Adelaide free kick, and O'Brien clearly not pleased and gets barraged from the Port Adelaide crowd.
Oh, Malloy, look at this. They're having a go here. Malloy and Lee's having a bit of a dust-up.
That's actually a pretty good matchup. I like that one.
It's off the play. You couldn't see it on camera. They're pushing the run away. It's really on there. We'll keep with the play, David Mackay.
So Binky, long ball at the back. Troy Clements again. The former Eagle, now a red leg player. Drills it in towards West at centre-half forward. Off hands, it's McIntosh. Claimed by the Iceman. Macca goes to ground. What a battle of wills that is. And the Iceman loses this one. Macca wins it.
Have a look at that. Yeah, pulled down after he'd got rid of it.
Hobbs, 55 out, looks for a lead, or perhaps he goes long. This time it's long on the left boot. To the point of the square he goes, 2 hands up. It was West there, O'Brien there. Harvey snaps the goal, but it's already across the line. The ball hit the post, so Hobbs gets a point.
Oh, was it what? I tell you, let's get at desperate stages now. 25-minute mark of that third quarter. I tell you what, anything could happen now. It certainly needs something there as they try to kick in now. That'll be through Clayton. Clayton to bring the ball back into play. 8-9 Port Adelaide leading Norwood 6-8. I tell you what, it's a old game of football, this one, as Clayton drives it long. Good grab up there. No, not paid. Binky's a good high marker. He's been paid the free kick. Don't know what that was for either, Mark Nayley. You're right on these umpiring decisions. What was that for, over the shoulder?
Oh, we'll pick one out, shall we? We'll just take a...
Gary,
I'll just get the hat out.
Gary, ask somebody who knows.
I did want to ask you, Dave.
Hang on, no. It's dropping the ball.
Binky, long, goes down to McGuinness direction. One hand out, can't get it. Bowman, who's played well for the Redlegs, kicks it wide to the outer side of the ground. Throw in centre wing.
Well, 13-point margin now, David Mackay. Are the Redlegs gone at this stage of the game?
No, remember, they will come home with the breeze, and as Gary Window pointed out earlier in the quarter, he thought that perhaps Port Adelaide might need to be 3 or 4 goals clear to have the game in the bag. This game is still in the balance. Ambrose, a high handball. McGuinness flicks it forward, releases Hahn. Our long bomb to the point of the square. Who's underneath this one? Evans is there. Robert Neal doing pretty well, and Borlees happy to reset it.
Well, David, I spoke before about the Norwood players, but Port Adelaide losing the experienced players in Geneva and Delaney and a few others there. But what about Norwood? Jarman really is costly, and also looking at their assistant coach now and Stephen Rowe. I mean, those 2 players alone last year dominated this game.
So I agree with that. Nathan Smart kicked 5 in this match last year, didn't he,
Yep.
to dominate the goal scoring. He's gone to West Adelaide, where he really has been where he's been a potent force. You're quite right, sorry. And now it's Mad Dog Morgan. And in other matches around town this afternoon, Sturt by 51 points over the Eagles. I think they can safely claim that for a victory. But West Adelaide and Glenelg the balance at Richmond Oval. And Central by 38 points will probably run out victors against the Panthers at Elizabeth.
Ops coming off with a blood rule.
Blood rule.
Cut across the left eye.
I tell you what, this is an interesting... Is that Keating coming off too?
Clash of heads, I think.
It's the blood rule. We see that in modern day football. We all know why that's done. It always seems to be not much blood there, but you don't need much blood to contact. I think Keating there throwing the helmet off. Yes, interesting game of footy. Port 8-9 leading Norwood 6-8 with 27-minute mark of this third quarter. But I tell you what, Norwood to come home with a breeze. Don't know if it's enough for Port yet. Bounce down, about 20 metres out from the Port goal. Ambrose gets it down there. They battle to get it clear. Can't do so. Another bounce down with an easy kicking of the Port goal. And the umpire saying for the runner, tick off out of there. He's trying to give the Port Adelaide runner. The umpire
Yes,
saying,
he is.
get going. He's saying, I have to give the message up. Now he runs away.
Well, there's been plenty of speculation this week. Not speculation, but plenty of talk this week about David Armfield, the old Port Adelaide Magpie runner, spending a bit too much time on the ground as well at AFL games. We're now seeing former player Craig Ebert go down. Sounds like it's three-quarter time.
Yes, that's three-quarter time, and what a great battling quarter of football it was, as there's a bit of a blue on there behind play. Hahn, they're all in there, but it's going to be that type of game. Borlace, the captain, in there doing works, and what's that, a 13-point lead by the Port Adelaide side.
Good third quarter. The Magpies just hanging on to that margin. We looked at the half-time margin, which was down to 2 points. They were 8 points at quarter time, 2 points at half-time, so they've extended their lead by around about 11 points there. A good quarter. It must go to them. But Norwood tries so desperately. They're kicking into around about a 2 or 3 goal breeze. The Magpie just threw Borlace. He kicked 2 for the quarter. A great captain's effort, just kept them in that game. But Norwood, don't write them off too yet. I mean, they've got the players who really haven't been in it. McIntosh this afternoon really only had, he had about 8 handballs and only a couple of kicks. He's yet to get into the game. It does look a bit sluggish, a bit slow this afternoon, but they need something.
It's three-quarter time on ABC Sport with Port. 8 goals, 9 at 57, leading Norwood 6-8, 44. You're watching the SNFL live and exclusive to ABC Sport.
With the Redlegs trailing by 13 points, I think Peter Road would be wishing that he could have Stephen Rowe back, or perhaps Andrew Jarman. Either way, they're gone. Retired from the Redlegs. They did, however, recruit a couple. Scott Doreen and Robert Neal are 2 of the biggest signings.
My name's Robert Neal, 24 years of age, 185 centimetres, 92 kilograms.
My name's Scott Doreen, I'm 25 years of age, I weigh 80 kilos and I am 5'11".
The club I was at before Norwood was St Kilda Football Club.
I had 5 years at the Sydney Swans and enjoyed my time there, and then Norwood offered me a contract over here, so I moved over to Adelaide.
New coach Peter Road is a terrific guy, very relaxed, different mould to Stan Elves.
He's got a really good football brain. He studies his game plans and that to the precise team plans.
Most influential person in my career was Stan Elves. I think he taught me a lot about playing around the half-back line, where I spent most of my career at St Kilda.
I'd probably have to say Ron Barassi. I started playing senior football at the Swans while Ron was there. He's a great tactician and he's a great motivator.
A footy hero as a kid was Wayne Johnson from the Carlton Footy Club. He's tough and tenacious and kicked lots of goals.
My footy hero was Dermot Brett, and I followed Hawthorn when I was a kid, and I had the great pleasure in playing with Dermot when he was at Sydney.
I'm a personal trainer and I'm looking for some work here in Adelaide to make a bit more money too.
I've just started work at Salmat, which is a letterbox distribution company, so I work there with teammate Dale Fleming.
Couple of interesting characters, aren't they? I think they'll be very big recruits for Norwood as the season unfolds. As we go to highlights from the third quarter, a couple of goals off the ground are worthy of having a look at.
His highlights always terrific. There's the long kick coming in towards the goal square. These are vital, these goals. Have a look at that for big man Chalmers. That's an absolute ripper off the ground.
We just see at the other end, the ball's coming in hard. Orman Allen, who can jump. He's got a leap on him, that big fella. Or little fella, but he can jump, definitely can do that. But some good clearance here. The Port Magpie have been very, very good. As you see, Waite there. Take a mark.
Have a look at Brownie. I tell, always use the ball well. He whacks this one long into attack. A big Keating over the back. Hahn through was good play. Obst, another brilliant handball. That's terrific handball. Binky over the running Borlace. That's terrific. Classical play by Port Adelaide.
Big Keating again, just showing a little bit of strength and experience there over Ashley. Lucky not to connect with one of those uppercuts.
There's a big fly from Ambrose. He got a free kick for that. Now, what do you reckon about those? That's accidental contact, I believe, but paid as a free kick.
And here it is, Ambrose up again. Just Mark out in front.
Big McIntosh, that's terrific play there.
Now, young Hahn there. It's the young McIntosh versus the old McIntosh. Mark 1 and Mark 2 there, you'd suggest, and if I'm any judge at all, young Scotty Hahn will be the next Gary McIntosh, without the beard perhaps, Harney, if you wouldn't mind. As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line, Stephen Williams enjoying a 13-point lead.
And Stephen Williams recognises that Port Adelaide will be going into the wind in this last quarter, has asked Port Adelaide to just go back to the style that we all know from Port Adelaide, and that's just tough man-on-man football. He wants his players to man up. They're physically stronger than the Norwood side, according to Stephen Williams, and they want to use that as their advantage. Damien Obst came off just before the quarter there, just with a cut above the eye. He's been patched up, and we'll see him again as the start of the quarter. At the other end, Peter Rode reorganised his team. He's put Scotty Doreen onto the half-forward flank. Malloy has gone back to the back pocket. Into the middle has gone Robert Neal. He wants his players to be in front. They need to use the wind, but looking to get the hands on the ball to start with. So two different approaches from the two different teams, reflecting the nature of the game and the weather conditions. It'll be a great last quarter, David.
Thanks, Michael. As we go to the three-quarter time scoreboard, it was 8 points at quarter time, 2 points in favour of Port Adelaide at half-time, and a blowout at 13 points at three-quarter time. Still, with Norwood coming home with the breeze, it's anyone's game.
And the goal kickers this afternoon, we see the multiple goal kickers for Norwood. They're being Cook with 2, Cunning with 2, Evans with 4 for Port, and Ball Ayers with 2.
As we go back down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line with former Magarey medalist
and
Michael
with
Aish.
the skills coach of the Norwood Football Club, the legendary Michael Aish. Michael, how will Norwood run and win this one?
Well, Pastor, it's been pretty tight, as you've seen throughout. There's not a bad breeze there, but I think what we have to do is just get a little bit better at getting in front around the packs. Port Adelaide are really just getting first use of the ball, getting it on, and particularly early in that second and third terms on their boundary throwings, they're just taking the ball away too easy from the packs.
Okay, so they get a hand on the ball, you'd be looking for a red leg win at the end of the day.
Well, there's a few changes. Robbie Neal into the centre and a few others. Harley into the back flank, Pascoe into a forward pocket. So there's been a few chances. So if we can capitalise on those and get up to Pascoe in a forward pocket 1-on-1, we might have a chance.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Michael. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you to Michael Aish. Robert Neal into the middle, Mark Nayley, an interesting move.
Yeah, they need some sort of injection. I mean, as I said before, Gary McIntosh is not seeing enough of the football today. He's not being tagged, but Morgan has been dynamic in there. Mac is still in there. He might be doing a ruck rovers role, but just quickly, just do a quick rundown of the stats. We just see here at the moment, the kicks for Nord 129 against Port's 151. Handball 60 to Nord, so pretty low to Nord, where they've got Porter got 90. Hit outs 43 to Nord. They're absolutely dominating in the middle with Big Keating up against Port, only 16, so 43 versus 16. And the frees still 11 to Nord, but 21 to Port.
Well, it's going to be an interesting end to this game. The final quarter about to begin. It's going to be an absolute ripper. I think Norwood have given themselves a chance. The wind won't win it for them, but it's going to be a big one. This is Anzac Day at Adelaide Oval on ABC Sport. Stay with us. It's going to be a ripper. It's cold. It's dark. There's the bounce down to start the final quarter. Out of the centre, who can get it? Malloy. That was well done. He barged through. Kicks down to the half-forward line. Cook's got the pace there, but he's well beaten by Polton on this occasion. The kick goes wide. It's all obst out there for Port Adelaide. They'll have to be steady, Port, in this. They'll have to use their brains going against the breeze. And they've got the players to do it. None better than this little bloke, Brownie. Always a try. Kicks it long and high. Up into the centre half forward position. Met high there is the young player there in
Jonathan Yerbury.
Yerbury now. Big youngster for Norwood. Kicks it long into the half forward flank region. Knocked away by Lees. Down Michael Parsons, what's happening down there? Is it raining yet again?
No, mate, enjoying a great game of football in absolutely fabulous conditions today. As we said at half-time, Damien Oz has gone back on the field, but, fellas, he is in number 20, changed from number 3, had blood on the jersey.
Throw in outer side of the ground. They try to get it clear out there. Thrown out of the pack. It gives Cunningham the chance. Gets it away. Kick forward there by Obst. Goes into the forward lines. It's off hands. Kicked off the ground is good football down to Christian O'Brien. He's grabbed that.
The mark.
He's got it. O'Brien hasn't done much today. 1 goal. Mark, can he kick this? It's a pretty good angle, but plenty of goal to kick at.
Oh, unlucky Benke. The ball was socket up off the ground. O'Brien playing in front, which all forwards should do. But his big arm, his big frame up, Benke couldn't get his arm over the top of the big fella. So O'Brien lines up for his second goal of the afternoon. And Norwood, Gary Window, McIntosh, I'm going to call you. Wish you were.
I wish I was. Yeah.
Needs to kick this.
O'Brien, let's stay with him on ABC Sport. It's a vital kick for goal. It's high. It's long. He runs across. I think he's missed the asshole. He's just missed when they needed a goal. Norwood go to 6-9, trailing Port Adelaide 8-9 by 2 goals.
Well, it's the goal the Redlegs needed to get them started off in this last quarter. They're 13 points, down to 12 points now. They're still not out of it. They need to just keep attacking, attacking, and attacking.
Clayton DeBinky is good work. Now Brown, young fella with enormous character. Polton marks it right half-back. Well, it's going to take a determined Norwood to reel back this Port Adelaide side. Yerbury and Lees, will they enjoy that? So that 25-metre penalty and Lees takes off.
Brian Lees today, David Mackay, really has been sensational. Hasn't got hold of the football too often, but what he's done every time is just cut his player out. He's gone through 2 opponents. I think he's on to his 3rd now.
What was that penalty for? Gosh, right.
Well, he was put to ground after he'd marked. And Morgan around the corner to the point of the square. That's where it should be. And Harnice mark is right on the job.
The Iceman, cool as ever. Wearing the unlucky jumper, number 13 from last year. I just can't remember. A bit of trivia there for you, David. You're one of those buffs. What jumper did he wear last year?
Is he 47 or 53?
We'll find out, I'm sure, by next week.
45, I reckon he was. Actually, the more I think about that. As he puts it through, he's got 2. 2 goals, 1 to the Iceman. Hahn gets his 2nd. That's a big one for Port Adelaide.
It started with Brian Lees. And on the half-forward flank, the ball went into the pocket. Morgan, the mad dog Morgan, across to just send the ball to the top of the square. And who was there? The Iceman. The shave number 1 head. 2 goals this afternoon, 1 behind, number 13. This kid does impress me.
Yes, he's only played 8 games. This is his 9th today, but he's a good young player of the future. Oh, Port Adelaide putting in the big ones now. That was a great goal against the breeze. They won't worry about the wind. They'll just play it as it comes. Norwood have to kick goals. They can't miss any more. Taken by the big fella Chalmers. Wide. Clayton's got it. He kicks long into the Ambrose. Or Port have lifted. They love it when there's a challenge on. Ambrose has grabbed it. I've been impressed with his play the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's been good. A sensational game last week against the Tigers. He goes forward. I think he's found Brown.
He's got it over there. Ashley it is onto the right foot. He can't get it clear. Malloy traps that well. Gets it away to Obst. Obst on centre wing. Norwood need to do something. Oh, they're making mistakes as Big Ambrose comes in and cuts out that ball. It's out of play. Right half forward flank for the Magpies.
I've said it right along. The Magpies want revenge. They were beaten last year's grand final by the Redlegs. And this time last year on Anzac Day, 1997, they were humiliated. They were beaten badly.
That too.
Try beaten, yeah.
And it's kicked down to centre wing. Over to Clayton. The Port Adelaide defender kicks off the ground, goes to Obst. McIntosh has got to do something. He battles through, but he can't keep it in play.
I think we've proven, Gary Windows, Mark Noney shouldn't be using big words.
That was a ripper, wasn't it?
Beaten soundly.
Well, it's a pretty exciting day here at Adelaide Oval on Anzac Day. You're on ABC Sport, but it's Port Adelaide 9-9 leading Norwood 6-9 by 3 goals. With a 5-minute mark of the final quarter, Norwood have to do something.
And quickly, they need to play direct and hard football. And as we go to other grounds, this afternoon, Sturt by 44 points over the Eagles. They'll win that one. Glenelg by 5 points over West. That game in the balance at Richmond Oval. And Central by 40 points. They'll take that one out against South Adelaide. Yerbury slung away from the contest. Clayton had the kick smothered. Thumping it forward was Borlase. He caught one high from Lachlan Bowman as he dispatched that ball forward. And Carter just couldn't get there before the ball beat him across the line. We're 5.5 minutes into the final quarter at Adelaide Oval, this Anzac Day clash. And officially it's Anzac 9. These two teams have met 8 times before today on Anzac Day. Port Adelaide hold a 5-3 record as Borlase upended. Davey couldn't get clear, and Borlase, the second effort was outstanding.
Norwood will need to dig deep now. Trailing by that 3 goals. I tell you what, it's hard against this very... Oh, I've been impressed with Port Adelaide this year, David. They look good.
Well, they're going to be undefeated if they take this one away, Gary, which at this stage it looks like they might.
No, I don't know. You never can tell with Norwood. Premiers last year, but oh, they've left it. Vines has got it. He sees the leading player go into the pocket. Knocked away. Oh, there's a free kick there.
Yep, had to be.
Big Evans was pulled there, wasn't he? That was really pulled away. That was a silly free kick. Vines got it in beautifully there.
That might be that's it. I reckon that's one of the most unusual free kicks you'll see at a crucial stage of a game.
Well, you just can't do it in defence. It's unbelievable someone would do that at a crucial stage like this.
Mark Naley and I went up as one. We couldn't believe what we were seeing.
Well, he's had 3 opponents this afternoon, fellas. He's kicked his 4 goals too. Big Tom Harley's been moved on to him, but Evans here will line up for his 5th goal.
And missed a couple of easy ones, really, weren't they? Dead setters.
Evans will stay with him. He got 4 goals in the first quarter. Lines up now for number 5. This is important. The Port crowd throw the banners up behind the goals there at the southern end. That's a goal. That's a great goal. His 5th. And it's all Port Adelaide. 10-9, leading Norwood 6-9 on ABC Sport.
Well, Coach,
walk us through this, Mark.
You just see there, good contest to start with, a little bit high. In the right position was Harley from behind, but as he was going down, unfortunately grabbed the Port player. There's not much else he could have really done.
Well, Harley
throw his arm back.
Harley lost his
feet.
balance and he was out of the contest, and he took Evans with him. As we're back in the middle, 45 plays 69. The Redlegs need a quick goal to get back in it. Davey ducked as he went through. No, there's no free there. He ducked as he saw the oncoming Port Adelaide opponent coming, and the umpire was dead right.
The brick wall. He's trying to watch this. Bang! Stop there. Todd Davey.
Newbury down. Well done, Clements. Roves it beautifully towards West. 5 was Lee's, just thumping the ball wide. It was just a beautiful fist. Out wide was Polton in front of Cunningham. He's got some toe, this kid, and kicks to touch.
Yes, he's socks down. He's a real traditional Port Adelaide looking player, isn't he? Just goes the ball one way, flat out and hard. Doesn't deviate. Outer side of the ground, throw in. We've had 8 minutes into the final quarter. Norwood have got to do something now. They look a little bit tired. They're not really... There was a good move by Ops in the centre there trying to get through. Someone's got to do something. Where's Cunningham? He's down on the half-forward line. There's the Norwood bench. Keating, you can see there, standing out in the middle. Ruck well early.
Shouldn't be sitting there, Aaron Keating.
No, I think it's a good comment, Mark Nayley, because his tapping could be vital now. They've got to get some clean touches, Norwood, if they're going to win this game. Out of the side of the ground. They battle for the ball. Kicked in short. There's a player there. Can he grab it? No, they're making mistakes now. Knocked away. Battling through is Neil. He tries to do something. Can't do so. McIntosh. That's better. The handball goes wide. Running towards goal. Cook. That's a beauty. No, it's just offline. It's a point when they needed a goal. Norwood go along to 6-10. Trailing Port Adelaide 10-9. 9 minutes into the final quarter.
CJ Cook, the first half was dynamic. 1 goal in the first quarter, 1 goal in the second. Been a bit quiet in that third quarter, but they're going to win this game. They need CJ Cook to really explode. And a bad mistake.
O'Brien. Oh, watch this. Oh, Binky came in. O'Brien had taken the mark. Binky just gave him a little upender. The umpire was dead right about this. This is a 50, but it's a dead set gimme for Port against Port, as O'Brien will get a shot for goal, and he'll kick his second here. He got 1 in the third quarter. Now they're 23 points down. This brings them back now virtually within 3 kicks, and still a chance in the match.
Oh, that was a vital goal, that one.
To see the kick in. Didn't quite find the target. He was going for Orman Allen. Allen expecting to come there. Didn't see O'Brien across the face of him to a good mark, but then got felled.
O'Brien was good, wasn't he? Hey, he should have had his powder on.
Yeah, well, I think he fell over. Well, he must have run over a blinking mosquito out there or something, but it's a vital goal for Norwood.
News flash, Keating's back on, back into the middle of the ground.
So he ought to have been there too. Well called, Mark Nayley. There's whistles going out there everywhere. Where's they lost the ball? Have they? Someone at the Adelaide Oval Anzac Day
They found it.
No, new one coming in.
There's a man with a blue suit on with a, looks like a police hat on. He's got hold of the football behind the goals.
You're on ABC Sport. This has been the Anzac Day, the traditional day at Adelaide Oval. It's been a beauty, and could that goal at the 9-minute mark for O'Brien be the one that's a catalyst? Norwood coming home with a breeze. They've got plenty of time. We're 11 minutes into the final quarter. Keating's back on the ball. He's opposed to Chalmers. Keating gets the first tap out of there. Trying to get it out of the centre. They can't do so. Ashley. Port Adelaide go to Ambrose. Oh, great mark! Courageous! Davey, you beauty! What a mark! Can Norwood lift? The kick comes wide. Sujay Cook up high from behind, can't mark it. Handball away from Obbs. Goes to Vines. Vines for Port Adelaide, the West Brisbane recruit. He's looking for a play, puts a short little option in, it's not off, and Pitt marks lovely in defence.
Pitt has been outstanding today in defence, probably Norwood's best defender. Bowman's been very solid also, but this guy has been the shining light out of a back pocket. Neil thumps it down, Cook, Obbs, back now to Neil, who's playing in the middle this final quarter to Scotty Green. playing as a ruck rover half-forward flank. They're looking for some firepower. Running wide, it's Hobbs. He can bound away and take a bounce. Instead, he lifts the eyes and goes on the left. He's decked after disposed it by Clayton. Play on to the umpire. Nothing in that one. Pascoe moved to a forward pocket for this last quarter. Feeds it out. Harvey snaps for goal, but the kick is short. And Chalmers relieves the pressure for Port Adelaide.
He got it away. They got out of there. They got out of jail there, Port Adelaide. The kick goes wide from Wade. What a shotter! He's made a blue too. I wonder if the pressure is starting to tell. It's out on the full, and Norwood get a chance to go back and attack through Clements.
I think one of their #1 gun recruits, Robert Neal, may have done a hamstring in the last contest out here in front of the members' stand.
And Adam Crouch on for the Redlegs.
12-minute mark of the final quarter on ABC Sport. It's been a beauty all day.
What about that mark, Gary Window? Well, we've got a moment. Todd Davey going with the fly of the ball, had an actual steam engine coming towards him, kept his eyes on the ball, took a sensational mark.
Well,
I'd love to see it again.
Yes, the Anzac Day clash, and that was an Anzac Day mark. Absolute courage personified by one of the smallest players on the ground, Todd Davey. Just coming back from the rugby stand, the ball went under that stand on the outer side of the ground, and now it's back in play with Clements with a chance for Norwood. The Redlegs, are they good enough? Last year's premiers, took everything before them last year. Port Adelaide in the van today. 10-9 to 7-10. Port Adelaide in front. It comes down to Ashley. He's played a crook-old game for the Magpies. Off hands to Cook. He gets it away to Davey, who took that brilliant mark. Kicks into attack. It's Cunningham. He can do anything. This bloke, he steps towards goal, but he's missed. It's offline. It's the 11th behind to Norwood when they need goals. 13-minute mark, final quarter on ABC Sport. Norwood 7-11, trailing Port Adelaide 10-9.
18 scoring shots to 19. Interesting byline there. The Redlegs are 7-11. Port are 10 goals 9. They've kicked very accurately. Clements high, thumps it down. Julian Waite pushes it forward. Oh, Davey with great courage. Well done, McIntosh. Feeds it out. Harvey now short to Cunningham.
Let it play. Come on.
And the umpire's bringing it back, fellas. Cunningham can't believe it.
Todd Davey, write him down for those two in that last quarter. He could be the one that could win it for the Redlegs. Two sensational performances.
Great courage shown by Todd Davey. Towards full forward he goes. Oh, the ruckman playing a kick behind. It's Chalmers who flicks it out wide. Lees runs onto it. They're creating space, Port Adelaide. They do this beautifully. Vines in front of Hobbs. The two speedsters go at it. Vines very cleverly flicks it out beautifully in the finish to Orman Allen, who's been quiet since being virtually knocked out early in the third quarter. And Chalmers' kick is wide and out of bounds on the full.
What a waste.
Great work shown in the back line there by Vines and also Orman Allen to get the ball across to Chalmers. They kept it alive. Unfortunately, the big fella, the big ruckman, Brett Chalmers, couldn't keep it in.
14-minute mark of the final quarter. The big kick from Bowman goes to centre forward. Oh, well read there by Morgan. Gets it away to Chalmers. He just kicks towards the line. It's on the left half forward flank, grandstand side for the Redlegs. They've got a chance halfway through the final quarter. 15-minute mark. And Norwood is 7-11, trailing Port Adelaide on 10-9. Throw in. Big hit over the back. Who's it going to go to? Thrown away is good to Vines. He can't get it up. Taken by Polton for the Magpies. He kicks into the half-forward line. Knocked away by Pitt from behind. It's good play. It's out of play. Throwing on grandstand side. Centre wing position. Port Adelaide 10-9, leading Norwood 7-11. 15 minutes into the final quarter.
It's time for the Redlegs to stand up. If they're to win this, they need a couple of quick goals. Davies been solid. Kicking in danger, Brown, and the umpire's seen the infringement. Harvey, good courage. Feeds it off now to the player back on the ground, Adam Crouch, who replaced Neal just moments ago. Julian Waite thumps it and recovers. Then kicks it. It's a high ball. West pushes it forward, stolen away by Polton. This fellow is a real goer. I don't know who the defensive halfback flankers were in your day, Gary Window, but this bloke is a ripper.
Oh, they've had some good Ports. I can remember Elix for Port, these type of players, but he takes over in that tradition. And
they've always had a few, haven't they?
Because they're taught to play one way, and that's only hard at the ball and don't deviate.
Paul Northeast.
Yeah, brilliant.
Ivan Eckerman,
yes.
Tony Giles.
Yes, Giles, there's another one, was an outstanding defender for the Port Adelaide side. That's what it might get down to in this game. You're on ABC Sport.
Carter's off.
It's Anzac Day clash, but it's a big kick in to Norwood. Yeah. Pascoe, that's good coaching to have the big bloke down there. They need someone that can take a grab. I've seen this player kick a lot of goals. He's kicked none today, but look at that grab. It's a beauty.
Oh, up against Ormond Allen. The size difference was there. Ormond Allen couldn't get a jump at the big frame of Andrew Pascoe. Stood there, put his arms up and took a great grab. They need to kick this. Cross your fingers, Gary Window, and your toes.
Oh, we'll have to. It's so vital at the 16-minute mark of the final quarter. Pascoe, look at him, taking his time. He's a left footer. He's on the right side. Goes in deliberately. He's pulled it across. Has he? No, I think it's through. It's through. It's a goal. There's still a run in this game. 17-minute mark, final quarter on ABC Sport. That's an absolute ripper. Port Adelaide 10-9, leading Norwood on 8 goals, 11.
Still another good 10, maybe 12 minutes left in this last quarter here at Adelaide Oval. Anzac Day, 1998. What a big mark there by the big fella and Pascoe. The big left leg. Dragged it slightly. Umpire went to his left, but still brought up the goal. Down the boundary line, what's it like down there? Big parcels.
Great game of football and the big crowd's enjoying it. While that goal was being kicked, a change from Port Adelaide. Pedler came off and Carter came off and Pedler came back on. Sorry, boys.
Thanks for that, Michael. Doing a great job on the boundary today. Difficult weather conditions. Oh, the Redlegs are on the charge, aren't they? Cunningham forward. O'Brien needs to mark this one. Lees was up to the contest and pushes it towards the line. Safety first, the big defender.
Well, it's in the Norwood forward line, Gary Window. They just need to get a goal here. Another goal.
It's only 10-point ball game. They're coming back, Norwood. I can't believe it.
Anyone's game. 18.5 minutes into the final quarter. The Redlegs down by 10 points with the breeze at their back and on a charge. Chalmers thumps it down. Scotty Doreen goes after it. Polton in pursuit. And Polton across the line, quite content.
Crowd looking around there for the rain. I hope it's not coming. It's getting dark at Adelaide Oval.
This is how you would want it, Gary Window, would it not? 10 points with 10 minutes to go and Norwood with the breeze at their back.
Oh, certainly, with Port leading all day by 8 at quarter time, 2 points at half time, 13 points at three-quarter time. Ball's in the pocket down there. Can Norwood get there? That's been tapped out. The umpire says it wasn't deliberate. Macca there just pushing Lees around. I have a look at them two, haven't the eyeball to eyeball. Oh, footy's a great game, and I love Macca. Look at that nasty look.
Now, they're trying to take that out of the game in the AFL. They're losing a dimension. That is just beautiful.
It's certainly right there, David. As the ball's over the back, uplifted. Norwood, Hahn gets it away for Port Adelaide, kicks towards the line defensively, but it's still in the scoring area, or about 60 metres away from the Norwood goal on that right half-forward flank.
They are gladiators, these men. They're out there putting their body on the line.
Well, it's Anzac Day. I tell you what, all the traditions of Anzac Day in this big clash between Port Adelaide and Norwood. Who'll win? Port Adelaide lead by 10 points and we're 19 minutes into the final quarter on ABC Sport. Port Adelaide kick out of attack, but great mark out there. That should have been played. It wasn't. Play on goal. Oh, the crowd go mad.
Oh, no. Look at this mark. The ball's kicked up by Brown.
Adam Crouch.
One. Thank you. You would have paid it.
He's got to control it, fellas. You're getting carried away. It's a tight game, a 10-point ball game, and we are 20 minutes exactly into the final term. Ball up, outer wing, Adelaide Oval, Anzac Day. And the Magpies by 10 points. Well, last year it was 122 points in favour of the Redlegs. A humiliation for Port Adelaide. Today, it's been a gun contest. Crouch, torpedoes one wide. Into space it goes. Scotty Doreen, Clayton. Clayton's worn Doreen like a glove. He's been a great defender, Clayton, today. West thumps it forward. McIntosh did very well, but Lees was up to the challenge. Thumps it down. Hobbs did number 20 jumper now. The blood rule got him earlier, and he's wearing a new jumper. Ambrose, big fly. Loose ball. Bowman brings it to ground and holds it in the area, and yet again we'll have a bounce.
Well, the coach is working overtime now. The commitment needed to win this game. Port Adelaide deserve to be in front. They've been there all day. They lead by 10 points at the 20-minute mark of the final quarter. Bounce down outer side. Keating with a chance. Knocked away by Waite. Goes towards the line. Clements the first one there. Right foot, he kicks it down to attack. And a good mark taken there. And that has to be paid, that one, by Danny Morgan. Morgan now. Fifth game today. Morgan, he's been a good player for Port Adelaide in this year for them. He kicks long into attack. Off hands to the front of the pack. Down to Obst. He goes with a short little left foot kick. Brown with a chance. It's out of play. centre wing on the outer side of the ground. A bit further around that, near the left half forward flank for Port Adelaide. They're going against the breeze to the southern end in this final quarter. Stephen Carter there on screen. Throw in. Getting near the end of the game, but still enough time if Norwood are good enough. The kick away is good into attack for Port Adelaide. Evans can't mark it, goes to the back of the pack. Battling hard over, they try to get through there through Obbs. He can't do it. Malloy there holding the player up, won't get a free kick for that. That was Vines, and there'll be a bounce down only about 25 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal.
This is where a coach needs a mobile phone. He can just send the runner out with a mobile phone and pass the message on to all the players. Perhaps Port Power with Vodafone as a sponsor might be the first to use that ploy if it's a legal manoeuvre, but Brown misses to the left. This has been a real arm wrestle today, the two top dogs of the competition, as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
And Stephen Williams trying to run an interchange here. David Brown to come off, but he's not that keen. He's not making any move towards the boundary line. Carter going back on.
Crouch marks. Matthew Ashley just held him up for that split second. Van Jokia streaks through the midfield, delivers it up right into the centre of the ground where Keating soared. Obbs comes down, Vines has got him, but it's a free kick back afield, says the umpire. A 25-metre penalty.
Yep.
And Crouch will take the ball back. Here comes Brownie. Not happy. Crouch has time for a bounce. Plays on, almost run down by Pedler. A long one towards centre half forward. Big man up was Binky. Couldn't complete the grab successfully. Takes control of the ball and holds it in the air. It was Obbs' direction. And Obbs reckons he marks it.
Well, it's inside the 50-metre half circle here in the Norwood forward line. They need a score out of this contest. It's a 23.5-minute mark of this last quarter. They need a score, fellas.
11 points, 2 goals, gets them home.
Knock away by Keating. It goes to Sujay Cook. Gets it over to Cunningham.
Oh, what's he played here?
He's played Port Adelaide.
Played a throw. The umpire was right on the spot, fellas.
Oh, Cunningham going in the open goal. There's Keating.
That's a throw.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark Noley, gee, the umpires have got you all day, haven't they?
A knock-on, maybe.
All day they've got you.
Brilliant decision by the umpires. There's the kick to the outer side of the ground, and you can all see it on those ABC slow-motion replays. Outer side of the ground, Davey over there. They try to get it clear. Obbs has done well in this last quarter. Gets it over to Clayton for the Magpies. He kicks long up into the centre wing position. Pitt can't mark. Kicked off the ground is good play by the Magpies. Goes into the half-forward line. What can the Magpies do here? Malloy's over it. Ball ace trying hard. Pedler's on the ball there. Handball away by Bowman is terrific play. Good handball by Davey. Keating. Back to Malloy. They've got to get a goal here. Norwood. It's high, but it's all Port Adelaide in there. And it's Chalmers at centre-half back.
Binky, a high ball underneath this one. Oh, he's got great courage and judgment. Marks it on the grandstand wing, settles things down. We're 24.5 minutes gone into the final term. The Magpies lead by 11 points, and they'll slow it right down. Morgan, who's been solid today in the centre for the Magpies. Oh, Keating, good grab, an important one.
Free kick before that was given to Big West.
Okay, still time. West, a long way down from the forward zone. Pushes it into Cook, who can feed it off if he wants to. No, he lifts the eyes. Now Chalmers is playing a kick behind field, and so too is Ambrose. So they've got their big men back, Port Adelaide, thwarting the Redlegs' attacking thrusts.
Well, they need someone big down there to take a grab. They haven't got him at the moment. There's the kick across ground. It's taken by Harvey. Brilliant interception. Over to O'Brien. What's he like on the left leg? It's close. Oh, it's in on the last line. It's been pushed through for a minor score.
He just tried to guide that on O'Brien. Coming through on his left leg, not his non-preferred side of his body. Should have really kicked hard through the football, gave it a little bit of air, tried to guide it through. Orman Allen diving across the base, just put his hand to it. So we can see, just try to guide it through. You see Orman Allen just gets his hands across, able to hold Pascoe out.
It's a 10-point ball game. Port lead as we get to the 25, nearly 26-minute mark of the final quarter. The outer side of the ground, it's Julian Waite. I think the Magpies have got it. They deserve it. They've led all day. Waite now. Long, that's the way to get out of there to the centre wing, outer side of the ground. They fly high, knock to the front of the pack. Kicked away towards the boundary line, but it can only be taken out of play there. And a throw-in. Pitt was the man with the ball. Throw in on centre wing, outer side of the ground.
Well, it can only be around about 2.5 minutes left of this game here. Norwood need to get the ball forward in the next contest.
Keating, Chalmers, what can Norwood do? I think the Magpies are going to hang on. Waite does well, it comes wide. Taken there by Cunningham, didn't take the ball. Ashley there, does well. Tries to get it out to Borlace, does so. Borlace gets a little kick away to Hahn. He's onto the left foot. He's been a goer all day for the Magpies. Kicks it into attack. Off hands, down to Pitt. He's tackled brilliantly out there. And the free kick has been paid to Norwood for holding the ball. Beautiful tackle out there. Goes to Carter. Carter for the Magpies. Upsteady the Magpies. What a game of footy it's been in this Anzac Day clash on ABC Sport. Long kick into the tackle. He goes taken by Lees. Here's the sealer. Lees into the open goal. It's a beauty. It's a goal. That's the one. Port Adelaide having a terrific day. The centre half back has kicked the beauty.
That's the final nail in the cotton. Brian Lees from centre half back wandered down, brought his player down. Carter, who spent a bit of time on the bench in the last quarter, puts it up. Where's Lees? There's Evans, there's Lees. West goes to ground. Good boys, good shepherding by McGuinness inside. But Brian Lees really today, fellas, has been outstanding.
He's certainly out for the centre half back to get down and do that. Have a look at that pace.
He loved it.
First goal for Brian Lees, playing at centre half back.
Norwood's free.
Bounce down the centre of the ground. In the centre. I think it's all over now, but you never know as Keating goes long. He's looking for Big Pascoe, knocked away to the front of the pack. Oh, Ashley's had a terrific day up there for Port Adelaide. Orman Allen in there done some valuable things. He's caught holding the ball. The umpire takes it that way. It goes away. It's a 25-metre penalty to McIntosh. We're at the 28-minute mark of the final quarter. Norwood, though, I think it's just too much. Macca's got to kick this one. Macca has to kick this one, but I don't think there's enough time. Can the skipper do it? 34 years of age. Have a look at that. 356 games.
Could be his last season of football too, I think, Gary Window. Just looking a little bit tired, those legs. Without carrying through 22 rounds this year, we'll have to wait and see. But Gary McIntosh, as we said, 356 games. Line up for his first goal of the afternoon.
2 McGarry medals. What can the Norwood champion do? Puts it on the way. He's dragged it. The Port players like that. It's missed. That might be the last gasp. And on ABC Sport, the scoreboard reads, Norwood 8-13, trailing Port Adelaide 11 goals 10.
15 points the margin as Clayton heads to the outer side. He's been a solid defender today, Mark Clayton. Binky over the top has been as tough as nails. Welcome return from North Melbourne, and I think he'd be pretty happy to be home with the Magpies. He has been tough today, as have most of the Port Adelaide defence, to be frank. Lees has been spectacular. Binky and Clayton have been solid, and Polton really has been a tough nut. This fellow's done well. Morgan out of the middle to West, who has had a sluggy start to the 98 season. Back to Clements, a worker today for the Redlegs. Keating and Ambrose go hard at it, the two number 18s. It's a dead heat and an umpire bounce.
Well, David, the Magpies have got their revenge. I've been talking about it all day. How key, how teed up they were to win today's contest. They've done it.
Well, I think more importantly, they take a 4-zip start to the season, which is the type of start that puts them back into premiership.
Well, Norwood had that start last year. They won 10 games before they lost one.
They did.
Against North Adelaide in front of one of the AFL games, the pre-games before the AFL game last year. Can the Magpies do it this year?
Well, they've been awesome, haven't they, the start of the year? It's absolutely awesome start by them. It looks danger signs for all the other sides. As Lees now tries hard to knock it out of play. It does so. Throw in on right half forward flank, outer side of the ground. Norwood, yes, tried valiantly, but they've trailed all day. Port Adelaide, as I said, they were awesome last week, and they're certainly going to generate something in this 1998 season. Throw in. The seconds tick away. We're at the 30-minute mark of the final quarter, and Hahn, he's been one of their best players today, this young bloke. Kicks into the centre of the ground. Pedler there can't take it. Goes down to Malloy. He tries to tap it clear. Borlace has been a ripper of a game also today for the Magpies. Bounce down in the centre of the ground, out near the centre wing there. Port by 15 points, 30-minute mark of this final quarter. Cold conditions and pretty dark now at Adelaide Oval.
Matthew Ashley comes down, Hahn dragged off it. Free kicks to the umpire. They've been right on the job today. I don't think, fellas, we'd have any blue with the umpires at all, would we?
No.
I think it's been pretty good this season generally, apart from a couple of decisions last week, which we highlighted. Davey over the top of it. He has been courageous. Obbs off a wing has worked pretty hard. And West really has had a sad day in terms of scoring goals, and really that's what he's there for. Norman Allen just finishes it off with Pascoe. The ball stayed inside the line. It was clever. Recovers and drives it back. There's a whistle blown. And a free kick behind play.
Yeah, Gary McIntosh just had a little bit of a confrontation with Brian Lees. My best on ground today.
Kick goes into the half-forward line. It's all the Magpies now.
It's all over.
And it certainly is a 15-point margin. Port Adelaide have won by 15 points in a great display of football. Pretty wet and cold, but Port Adelaide 15 points, well deserved.
What a game of football. I'll just go through a few best players for both sides in no particular order. Darryl Borlos, those 2 goals in the third quarter were sensational. Obbs has been good, changed his jumper halfway through. Brian Lees, my best on ground by far. Mark Clayton for the Magpies, also Ashley the Iceman and Scotty Hahn. He's been bobbed up everywhere, half back, half forward. And for Norwood, I tell you, they've been just some players in there. They gave some great commitment. They really have been good. But Dave Mackay, that is a game, Anzac Day tradition. It's here to stay.
It is a great tradition. As we go to the final scoreboard, it was 8 points at quarter time, 2 points at half time, 13 points at three-quarter time, and the final wash-up, a 15-point victory to the Port Magpies.
Multiple goal kickers there. Norwood, Cook 2, Cunningham 2, O'Brien 2, and for Port Adelaide, have a look at that. Evans 5, a brilliant performance. Borlays and Hahn 2 each.
In other matches around Adelaide today, Sturt and the Eagles at Unley Oval. Sturt prevailed West Adelaide at home against Glenelg. Central District, a big victor over South Adelaide. Don't forget, next Friday night, it's Central and Sturt at Adelaide Oval under lights Friday night. And I think the SANFL public have voted with their feet. Our game of the day is Eagles and West at Woodville Oval. Port North, South Glenelg and Norwood have the bye next week. Don't forget, video sales $34.95. We hope you've enjoyed this afternoon's coverage live from Adelaide Oval. We now take you to the live netball coverage of the Perth Orioles and the Adelaide Thunderbirds in Perth. The Thunderbirds, of course, have a convincing lead. We'll go to that just shortly as we quickly wrap up the final scoreboard again here at Adelaide Oval. And the Port Magpies have won out convincing victors. We hope you'll join us next week for our match of the day, 2 o'clock in our regular time slot, 2 till 5, as we go down to Woodville Oval. We now take you to our live coverage of the Perth Orioles versus the Adelaide Thunderbirds in Perth. The Thunderbirds have a convincing lead, and we now join them early in the third quarter. Goodbye for now.